The college football season hasn't ended. One could argue, actually, it is just getting underway. And why not start tailgating? Because we're about to see some of the best that college football can offer. It's the East-West Shrine Game coming up next. Some of the greats of the game have played in this game. Hall of Famers and some that'll be in Canton, Ohio soon. The future stars of the NFL and maybe even beyond. Are they on this field today? We're about to find out. 100 players in the 90th edition of the East-West Shrine Game. Next. What a beautiful day it is. Tropicana Field, St. Petersburg, Florida. If I had a boat, I would probably watch this game. The heck of a boat. Come inside. The East-West Shrine Game here on NFL Network, created by the Shriners back in 1925. The 90th edition of this football classic, the longest-running college all-star game in the nation. And we're going to have some fun today seeing some of the best that college football has to offer as they put on a good resume tape. This is kind of a job interview. Welcome into Tropicana Field. I'm Andrew Siciliano. Happy to be joined, honored to be joined by these two men here, Charles Davis and Mike Mayock. Mike, you cannot overstate the importance of this game because the job interview starts today.
Every kid in this football game has dreamt about the NFL since they were this big. And the East-West game is mostly about mid to late round draft picks, maybe a step slow, an inch short. The common denominator this week in practice, they all had a healthy chip on their shoulder to show the NFL scouts they could play the game. And Andrew, they all know this is their first step towards making an NFL roster.
Mike, believe it or not, 70 different players that eventually ended up in Canton, Ohio in the Pro Football Hall of Fame came through this East-West Shrine Game. Tom Brady will be there one day. Joe Flacco has won a Super Bowl. Michael Bennett and Cam Chancellor are both playing in the NFC Championship game. Dennis Pitta recently played in this game as well. So the question is, who are we looking for tonight here at Tropicana Field? Charles, who are you looking at?
I really enjoyed watching the West linebackers as a group this week. Guys out of the Big 12 like Ben Heaney from Kansas, who's an absolute tackling machine, and Bryce Hager from Baylor. Guys out of the Pac-12, the Stanford Twins, A.J. Tarpley and James Vaughters. And how about the Mountain West Conference with Zach Vigil, who really played well, their player of the year. But the guy I'm looking at is from the Big 10. And he's the big thumper out of the group, and that's Twan Jones. He looks like your classic middle linebacker, around 250 pounds, but there's a little bit more of a suddenness to him and to his game than you might think. He looks like a two-down plugger. I think that he could be a three-down guy. He's going to have to prove that today. I think he can run a little bit.
And today is definitely a proving ground. Who do you need to see prove it a little bit, Mike?
I kind of feel like every year an offensive lineman pops in this game. From Sebastian Ballmer in 09 to Justin Britt a year ago, somebody significantly enhances their draft stock. For me this week, it's the big guy from Louisville, John Miller, 6'3", 315 pounds, 47 starts at Louisville. He plays with great base and power in the run game. He's solid in the pass game, and it wouldn't surprise me if the way he played this week, he didn't move up to about a third-round pick.
Which is what this game is about, moving up and proving your value. Daniel Jeremiah is also joining us today here at Tropicana Field. He, however, is watching from the field. Daniel, who are you looking at tonight?
Well, there's a lot of big school players here that everybody knows about, but there's some small school players that are outstanding, led by Trey McBride, wide receiver from William & Mary. He's kind of clearly established himself as the best wide receiver in this game, and all you have to do is look to last year, John Brown from Pitt State, to see what a small school receiver can do to launch himself up the draft board.
John Brown launched himself to the Arizona Cardinals and kept making plays throughout the season. Who are the guys that make plays today and then make plays on Sunday next year? We're about to find out. The 90th East-West Shrine Game.
Got a little easy.
It is the 90th East-West Shrine Game here, Tropicana Field in beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida. The path to the draft starts right here. Mike Mayock, Charles Davis, and Daniel Jeremiah. I'm Andrew Siciliano, the fifth member of our crew, now down at the sideline. Hi, Alex Flanagan.
Hey, Andrew, the position that a number of these players played in college isn't necessarily the one that they'll have an opportunity to play at the next level, and that's why players like former Michigan quarterback Devin Gardner will be playing as a wide receiver here today. A number of other players will play in their typical position, but these head coaches will be asking them to play it in an entirely different way. Case in point, we have another number of shotgun quarterbacks who will taking snaps under center. And the players tell me, you guys, that these guys are very excited to show off their versatility today.
All right, Alex, and they'll be showing it off for these coaches here on the west side. Jim Zorn, the longtime NFL quarterback, former head coach of the Washington Redskins as well. He's coaching the west, coaching the east. That man, Samurai Mike Singletary, Hall of Fame class of 1998, and former head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. Moments ago in the east locker room, Mike Singletary.
That's the first thing we got to do. We got to do our job, execute our job. The next thing we want to do is look for the word, execute the word excellence. Okay? Not perfection, excellence. Knowing that we're going to make some mistakes, knowing that we're going to have some setbacks along the way, but at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, we did our best.
Hey, I think getting a speech from a Hall of Famer before a game in the biggest job interview of your life on national television probably works.
And Andrew, just to kind of set the scene here, special teams in this game, in any all-star team, are critical. And all these kids have a chance to make a play. And I'm not just talking about the return guys, Charles, right?
You're talking about the cover guys.
Line
blocking.
somebody up, get a shot on somebody, make a great block. The scouts are watching.
It's Nicholas Sadie to kick off from NC State. We talked to Nicholas before the game. Yes, it is Sadie, although he has been called some other things, including Sade. We'll get into that in a little bit. It's Keith Mumphrey back to return, the Michigan State wide receiver, and he'll take it back to the end zone, and they're going to start this one on the 20-yard line. Guys, should be fun today. Again, it's the East-West Shrine Game 90th edition. This is the first of the major college all-star games. The East won the toss, and they're going to start at quarterback today. Anthony Boone out of Duke, 6'1", 225, went 19-60 in his career, 25 career starts.
Well schooled, of course, by one David Cutcliffe, who's put out some pretty good quarterbacks into the league, and guys who make it into the league that people don't expect. Sean Renfrey making
was one of my favorite players in the draft a couple years ago.
Play fake to Terrence McGee, and then throw a completion to the tight end, Kari Lee, small school guy. He's from Bowie State, 6'4" and 235. Starting lineups today, starting with the East, who won the toss and is on offense first. Again, you saw the quarterback, Anthony Boone. He has Terrence McGee in the backfield out of LSU. Army's Larry Dixon, Trey McBride, who Daniel was discussing earlier. Darren Waller also at wide receiver. Miller, Feliciano, Dylan Day, John Miller, and Jamon Brown, the Louisville right side of the line. And they're going to out to the 31-yard line again of 11 on that opening play. Going to run it here with McGee, and he's going to get about 5 yards. Take a look at the West defensive players now. Starting lineups here for Jim Zorn's team. Russell, Castleman, Davison, and Affetti out of Memphis up front. The linebackers, talked about Vaughters and Tarpley, the two Stanford guys there from David Shaw's defense. McCain, I know, is a guy that we certainly looked at during the week. Josh Shaw, the former USC corner, out there as well, who missed most of the season back in LA. 35-yard line guys, second down. And again, it's Anthony Boone out of Duke as the starting quarterback here. And Boone's going to hand it off. And running left, that is Terrence McGee, again out of LSU, who rotated a lot, stood out this week, guys. Word from the coaches, could be a three-down back. Probably, again, a versatile guy that worked a lot at LSU.
Well, you see him coming downhill, step, foot in the ground, left foot, makes the cut inside Tarpley. And if you come out of LSU, what you are is a rotational back. And Charles, last year, there were two LSU tailbacks taken in the draft. Jeremy Hill in the second round, who had a great year, and then later in the same draft, a seventh-round pick. So
that was Alfred Blue.
Alfred Blue, sixth-round pick, I believe,
yeah.
in Houston, I believe. So if you come out of LSU, A, you're a good tailback, and B, you're going to be in a rotation.
3rd and 3, and out of the shotgun, Anthony Boone is going to run, and he is going to slide across the 45, showing his ability to scramble and pick up the first down.
And And that is somewhere around second base here where the Tampa Bay Rays play. Look at him. He sees it, looks, doesn't have it, sees the gap, and jumps right into it. And well-schooled as he is, slides down before he has to take the big hit, but he knew where the first down marker was and made his slide after it.
Yeah, and John Miller, the right guard, did a really nice job staying with his guy and ultimately turning him to the outside so Boone could get back up inside.
That was under shotgun on third down. Now they're working under center. A short drop and a fire to the outside, and that ball is dropped. Trey McBride, small school wide receiver out of William and Mary.
You know, in that last play, we're talking about right guard here, John Miller from Louisville. This is the kind of hand fighting you're talking about against a defensive tackle. Lower your base, bend your knees, drop that leverage down. And I think that's why he can be a good football player, Charles, because despite the bulk, he can bend.
And that was a good job against Tyler Davison, who's a quality defensive lineman from Fresno State, who plays the piano for them, meaning up and down the defensive line. He's played nose as well as tackle and end.
Incompletion, McBride and a play fake on second down. Go right back to McBride. This one he catches across midfield and across the 49-yard line, or 40-yard line, beg your pardon. Brought down by Bobby McCain.
You know, Daniel Jeremiah talked about this kid, and I agreed with Daniel that this is the guy that all week popped, and that was too big a cushion by McCain there from Memphis. But as far as route running, getting in and out of your breaks, as far as being consistent as a hands catcher, we all felt like this kid helped himself probably more than any wideout in the game. And
you mentioned someone who plays the piano. He actually plays the trumpet, Charles. Now it's McGee again in the backfield, and Waller, the Georgia Tech 6'5", 6'6" by some counts. Wide receiver can't hang on to that one on the sideline.
Now Waller's a guy that intrigued the heck out of everyone when they saw him. 6'5", 240 pounds. But what was the thing you and I talked about, Mike, that we think that Waller's going to have to make sure he improves when he gets up top?
Inconsistent hands, especially contested catches.
Bingo, exactly right. Because we talked about watching him on the practice field. I don't know how many times he's going to be able to uncover himself before the moment of truth and the ball's there.
Everything's going to be contested.
Right, at 6'5", 240, though, using that catch radius, he may have to do it that way.
And there's been so many good wide receivers coming out of Georgia Tech recently. Here's McGee with a big run. He has first down yardage. He has almost 20 across the 20. But there's a flag back on the 35-yard line. Fritz Etienne with the tackle.
And that right side, though, huh, Mike? The Louisville side?
The Louisville Twins.
Clay Martin out of Conference USA as our referee. He's calling holding.
Well, they may have helped themselves a little. We'll see who the call's on. But they caved in the right side and opened up a gaping hole for Terrence McGee.
Miller, we've talked about.
Holding, offense number 26, 10-yard penalty, replay second down.
We're actually going to get Dixon.
Reset the game clock to 11:21. 11:21.
Going to get Dixon, the fullback.
Yeah, but more importantly, don't worry about the penalties. Let's look at these offensive linemen here, the two Louisville guys, and why this thing was so wide open. Down block by the right guard. There's the fullback in the hole and the hold, but Jamon Brown, the right tackle, on the defensive end. And outside of the hold, Charles, really well done.
Yeah, the only reason he held him is because his technique was wrong. Hands outside, not inside.
Anthony Boone flushed out of the pocket, throws it over the middle. McBride catches at the 39. Let's go down to the sideline. Daniel Jeremiah, what do you got?
Well, you guys talking about John Miller from Louisville. I know Mike loves him. A couple things I liked about him when I watched him. First of all, 47 starts in college. That's always a good sign. And he played some strong side guard, which sounds unusual, but he flops. So he plays right guard, plays left guard. I watched him against Florida State, against their talented front. He more than held his own. I know Mike mentioned possibly the third round. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility.
Miller also played in high school, Miami Central, with Rakeem Cato at Marshall. Devontae Freeman, who's now a running back for the Atlanta Falcons. 3rd and 2. This is the opening drive, and this is Boone. And he hits McGee out of the backfield. Nice move. That's McGee with a first down to the 25.
Good start both by the quarterback. Boone's been on target for just about every throw, and also the tailback McGee.
When he has clear sight lines, Anthony Boone is very accurate throwing the football. We've seen him drive a couple, too. When he's able to step into the throw, that was well placed there. And then McGee making people miss, picking up additional yardage, getting downfield.
Charles, as a college quarterback, though, only 58% completion. 19 and 6 as a starter, but the accuracy is something that's going to be really important for him.
I think a lot of people think the sight lines are what hurt him because of his size.
That was good for 14. Now he hands to 15. And again, It's Terrence McGee at LSU, right to the middle of the line. Xavier Williams, the big Northern Iowa tackle who turned some heads this week, was in there first.
Can we go back to Daniel's report?
Let's
Talking about Big John Miller.
Yeah.
And he talked about him being a strong side guard, meaning he flip-flopped. You have a strong side, quick side, strong side, weak side.
Yep.
A lot of people do that because you don't have to double teach technique. It's the same technique every time you call the play. So those linemen don't have to learn both sides. They will always go to wherever side, whatever side is called.
Meaning
strong
you're
or
either
weak.
to the closed side with a tight end or to the open side with a split end, and that way the technique's the same.
No double teaching for you.
2nd and 8. Anthony Boone feels the pressure. He's going to run and get a couple of yards. Brought down again by Xavier Williams. 2nd straight tackle he makes. Also Bryce Hager in there, the backer out of Baylor.
You like Xavier Williams, didn't you, Mike?
Yeah, I felt like he flashed a little bit this week. This is a kid out of Northern Iowa, 1AA player, obviously, 6'2", 325 pounds. And when you do your homework, he had 7 block kicks also, which is unusual for a guy with that body type. Okay, 6'2", 325. So what does that mean? He gets skinny, and it's all about effort. And that's unusual for that body type.
And also for that body type, a guy had 8 sacks as well, so he can pressure the pocket. 3rd and 7. Anthony Boone, again, the quarterback out of Duke, throws outside and throws high and incomplete for a 6'5 receiver in Waller. On the coverage there, number 20, the corner, Gregory Henderson out of Colorado.
What did we say about Waller?
Everything contested.
And Gregory Henderson did an excellent job getting on the upfield shoulder of Waller, driving on the football, competing and contesting. Talked with his former defense coordinator at Colorado, Kent Baer, about Greg Henderson. He said the first year wasn't quite sure. New coaching staff, not quite bought in, didn't really practice that hard, but really picked it up this year. And he had a lot of good things to say about Greg Henderson and the way he picked up things this past season.
This is Marvin Kloss out of South Florida, so this is basically a home game for him. And a 39-yard field goal is up, and it is good. So the East opens it up with a 39-yard field goal. 8:05 remaining here in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Brought to you by Shriners Hospitals for Children. Helping children, protecting children. We call it Love to the Rescue.
Right.
They were there all week.
At the East West Shrine game, coming up on Wednesday, Hall of Famers Michael Irvin, Chris Carter select rosters for this year's Pro Bowl. It is fantasy football for real, everybody. The Pro Bowl draft, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, live on NFL Network. That man made double count Pro Bowls here. The head coach of the East of the East West Shrine game, Hall of Famer Mike Singletary. His East team gets a 14-play, 58-yard drive led by that man, Duke's Anthony Boone. Takes 6:55 off the clock and ends in a field goal to make it 3-0.
And 2nd-round pick out of Baylor was Mike Singletary in 1981. I told him yesterday I was in the same draft. He just went about 200 picks before I did, Charles.
Here's Kloss to kick off. And back to return, Bobby McCain and Carter. Sam Carter, the safety, leading for Bobby McCain, the corner. And McCain's got to get to the 25-yard line. 3-0. We're about to see the West offense. And Taylor Kelly out of ASU. He's up next.
2015 East-West Shrine Game is brought to you by Shriners Hospitals for Children. Helping children, protecting children. We call it Love to the Rescue.
All right, Dad. About a minute. Got about a minute. We want to rock. Let's go get it. Get off the field now. 3 and out. 3 and out. Let's go ahead and do that thing. Let's go ahead and do that thing now. Our offense took about 6 minutes off the clock. 6, 7 minutes off the clock now. Wow.
Mike Singletary tells it like it is here. The head coach of the East team of the 90th East-West Shrine game. It's 3-0, the score here. 3-0 after Singletary's team gets a 39-yard field goal to start it off. And here is the West quarterback. It's Taylor Kelly out of Arizona State. Jim Zorn says that they actually drew names out of a hat to see who's the starting quarterback. And the first play is an incompletion of the running back, John Crockett, out of North Dakota State. Guys, Taylor Kelly, what do we think?
Well, I had a chance to watch him 2 years ago against Notre Dame in person, and what impressed me about him was the dual nature of his ability to both throw the football and be an athlete. Now, he doesn't have a great arm, and he doesn't run the football like a great athlete, but he does everything well, just doesn't have an elite trait.
79 career passing touchdowns, 13 touchdowns on the ground in the Pac-12, and this ball is now on the ground. Kelly picks it up and then gets drilled 3 yards deep in the backfield. It's a loss of 2.
Tough way to start. Shotgun, a little bit low, but that's certainly handleable.
Felt like Taylor Kelly was trying to execute before the ball even got there. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of these times, and look at Crockett trying to throw the blaze. The block was that Dietrich Bonner, number 28, flipping over John Crockett, number 23 from North Dakota State, wearing blue.
See, now look at the quarterback looking at his wrist. One of the big things in this game, and Alex Flanagan talked about it, sometimes they've never been under center, and they never make calls in the huddle.
Better look out here, man on, he gets it away, and it's a completion to the boundary. Completion there to Austin Hill, the Arizona wide receiver. So Arizona State to Arizona, and a gain of 14.
It's a little bit of a double move. It was a slant and go, and then a comeback. And he did a really, there goes the slant and the comeback, and he had a great week.
He got both feet down as he moves towards the NFL. Can't just be 1 foot down, get both feet down. Austin Hill able to do that.
It was Darius Smith, the Kentucky defensive end, applying pressure from right end. And now they have first and 10 of 35. Short drop for Taylor Kelly. Throws complete on the slant. And there it is, Addison Richards. 6'5", 210 pounds with the first down. A gain of 11. He is Canadian, Mike.
Yeah, he's from Regina, and he's a 6'4", 209-pound wide receiver. Great tradition in this game. They invite 2 Canadians to come down and play. Another guy from Regina, Akeem Hicks, played in this game several years ago, 3rd-round pick of New Orleans. So a tremendous heritage of young men from Regina.
And how about Kelly throwing the ball into what would be a tight window and putting it right on the young man.
Kelly this time is going to get brought down by Darius Smith. Call it a coverage sack if you want. Either way, give it to the Kentucky defensive end for a loss of 2.
Good coverage in the secondary. You can only play 2 defenses here, single high safety, either a zone or man, but really it was an effort sack, and that was the key. Darius Smith, who played at Kentucky opposite Charles, a pretty good edge guy that hopefully we're going to see next week at the Senior Bowl. Bud Dupree, who most people think is a 1st-round pick. And then you look at Darius Smith. Now, I watched him 3 games this year at Kentucky on tape. Felt like he was a base end in a 4-3 defense, probably a left defensive end, can stack the run, and good enough to bring pressure in the pass game.
And 10.5 sacks the last 2 years after he was a JUCO transfer. Ball to the outside, and this one's caught by Deron Brown out of Northern Illinois. Mike, you mentioned the rules here. On offense, keep an eye on this. Open formations have to be balanced. No goal line packages here, and you can't go in motion, which is big. Defensively, you have to go 4-3. You can't blitz, and you can't press on the edge, press on the corners until you're inside the 5.
The whole point of these rules, and every All-Star game has them, is number 1, safety of players. You don't work together. You only have 4 practices, so you want to take care of that quarterback. And secondly, you want the players to play fast. So you want to simplify all the rules. So the quarterback knows it's a single high safety. The defense knows there's no motions or shifts. Play fast, play hard.
Like a little motion there in the backfield, no flag. They let it go with the play clock at 2. Kelly with the 7-step drop. Steps up in the pocket, throws over the middle. Flag down to the far sideline. That one, though, incomplete for Blake Bell, the former Oklahoma tight end, now a quarterback. They're not going to get pass interference for the intended receiver. That flag on the far side, 30, off the ball.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact. Defense number 5. 5-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
They get Damian Swan, the corner out of Georgia.
Wouldn't be a surprise to see a few of those today as these kids transition from being able to bump all over the field until the ball's in the air in the college rules to the NFL, 5 yards, and then you have to get off them.
Coaches were talking about readjusting their time zones.
Yeah.
And it's a good way. You've really got to twist the way you think when you head into the NFL.
And it's good for a 1st down to the 45 of the East. Kelly back out of the shotgun, which he's certainly comfortable with. Hands it off to John Crockett out of North Dakota State, a big talker, nearly 2,000 yards on the season. Anthony Chickalo with the tackle out of Miami.
Did you say a big talker?
Somewhat of a talker, Charles.
Chickalo does a nice job, and I thought Charles had one of the best weeks of anybody here because at Miami he played in a 3-4 and a little bit out of position where he kind of had to take on a big offensive tackle. Here in a base 4-3, you're talking about a 271-pound guy with much better burst and edge get-off than anybody thought. I thought he really helped himself this week.
Probably had the best get-off of any defensive end we saw. Maybe he and Zadarius Smith together.
Kelly on 2nd and 7. Wanted Hill, knocked down by Coleman. Justin Coleman, Charles, a defensive back out of Tennessee.
Quick-footed.
Very much so. And he's a guy that, remember, Butch Jones goes to Tennessee, takes over a program. You know what it's like for some of the upperclassmen. Hard to make that adjustment. Was told prior to this season, hey, we're going to be here a while. You want to come along or not? And Justin, to his credit, he did. I think that he looks like a nickel corner as moving forward, move inside to the slot. And if you talk to guys who were playing in this game, a number of the receivers cited Justin Coleman as their toughest cover this week.
Brings up a 3rd and 7 after Coleman knocks that one down, 42-yard line. Need the 35 for a first down. And again, this is Arizona State's Taylor Kelly. Avoids the rush and then throws low and throws incomplete to Austin Hill.
Good coverage by Dietrich Bonner, Virginia Tech, 6', 203. And when you watch Virginia Tech players play, okay, when you watch them play, they're never intimidated by man coverage, whether they're safeties or corners. They do it every day because why, Charles?
Because that's what they practice and play.
What they
play
do.
Pressure package, and they play a lot of man behind it. Bud Foster's system. Ask the national champion Ohio State Buckeyes what it was like that night. 3 interceptions, 7 sacks of the quarterback. They actually took Ohio State out of their game, which is what they do under Bud Foster's system.
The West gets across midfield and turns to the punter, Dara O'Neill out of Colorado. And that one's going to plant at the 5 and then roll back to the 10. That's where we're going to start. Back with the East when we come back. East leading 3-0 on an early field goal. It's the East-West Shrine game from St. Petersburg, Florida.
Welcome back to the East-West Shrine game. Daniel Jeremiah down here on the field. And now I'm going to talk about something that's near and dear to Mike Mayock, and that is social media. In the second quarter, I'm going to be answering all your questions on Twitter. Just hit me up. #AskDJ. My Twitter handle is @MoveTheSticks. I'll throw it back up to Andrew in the booth because I know Mike wants to get in and talk about Twitter, his favorite thing.
Hold a second. We can't. Can we verbally ask Daniel questions from the booth, or we have to tweet them?
Well, I mean,
why is he wearing sneakers? That's my first question.
He's rehabbing an injury, I think.
I don't care. Gut it out, dude.
Wear dress shoes.
What does that hashtag mean? What is that whole thing?
Well, you gonna put him in some of Harbaugh's cleats on the sidelines?
Move the sticks. He's from Appalachian State. He's a 3rd-team quarterback.
Wow, that's cold.
Hey, didn't App State as Anthony Boone hands to Terrence McGee? That's a big run.
Another run, man.
15 near the 19. Twan Jones, the tackle, gained at 10. Didn't App State beat Michigan once?
They lost to Villanova in the playoffs, and Villanova went down there, whooped their butts at Appy State, man.
I know this. Terrence McGee is making an early grab for that MVP trophy, isn't he?
He's making a statement, and
yes,
it's mostly that cutback across the right side there, and that offensive line, I think, from the East is taking a little bit of control of this game.
Say this, when he got in the game, and again, he rotated carries as Boone drops the throw and throws over the head of Larry Dixon at Army. When McGee got in, he averaged 5'9" a pop. So he was a situational, a rotational guy, but when he got in there, he made it count. 3
guys, as Mike pointed out earlier, LSU will always rotate backs, and those guys beat the heck out of defenses. And those yards per carry climb for those guys. Limited carries, maximum impact.
And it tells you something that at LSU, he wore that coveted number 18 jersey voted on by his teammates.
Came from Matt Mock, their quarterback, who was an inspiration, actually upset Tennessee in the SEC championship game on short order. Still breaking down, crying over that.
Here's McGee on 3rd and 1 behind Dixon, the fullback. He's going to get back to the line of scrimmage. I don't think that's enough, though. Tony Washington, the linebacker out of Oregon, leading the charge.
He can't get enough football, can he? Tony Washington.
McGee lost a shoe as well in that one.
Just played for a national championship against Ohio State in the title game in Arlington, Texas. Got on the plane, flew here. Jumped into workouts, what, Wednesday, I believe?
Wednesday.
Wednesday he got here and jumped into workouts and putting it out there on display right now. He's had a nice career at the University of Oregon, jumping in and taking over the spot that was formerly filled by first-round pick Deion Jordan.
And Charles, it made an impression that he made that effort. I was standing with a group of scouts when you can't miss that helmet when it comes jogging onto the field. And a bunch of guys were like, really? He showed up? They expected that the Oregon and Ohio State guys would all just bail on the All-Star games. And the fact that he made the effort to come here meant an awful lot to the NFL teams.
McGee didn't get enough on 3rd and 1, so it's the punt team on. Spencer Roth to boot it away, and Bobby McCain is going to let it bounce on the 41.
Catch the ball.
A good east bounce across the 30 and roll to the 29.
Got to catch that ball.
Does anyone catch it anymore on the fly?
Catch the ball.
Anyone?
3-0, 1:35 left in the
yardage.
College football's top seniors are on the clock as they look to impress NFL scouts during their final game. It is the Reese's Senior Bowl, and we are there next Saturday live, 4 p.m. Eastern time, only on NFL Network, and we are there all week leading up to that game, around the clock, really, with the practices and our Senior Bowl wrap-up show every night from Mobile, Alabama, the next stop on the path to the draft. Here at the East-West Shrine game, it is 3-0, and the West is going to start from the 29 with Taylor Kelly, the quarterback yet again for his second drive, and the running back here, Malcolm Brown, out of Texas. Devin Gardner, no, not Devin Gardner, that was
Darryl Wadd.
There was Darryl Wadd on the tackle.
How about that?
Another Canadian player.
That's the second Canadian player from Western Ontario. And it's really nice to see the Canadian players come down here and compete. And the wideout Richards had a tough week getting press coverage. He wasn't used to that. But you could see as the week went on, he got better and better. And nice play there by Darryl Watt.
Truthfully, in the last 4 or 5 years, I think the Canadian players have gotten better every year that's come here. That have come to play.
That's Kason Williams from Washington, complete to his Pac-12 compatriot. From his Pac-12 compatriot, Taylor Kelly on the far sideline. Ty Smith with the tackle.
Playing off. Kason Williams is 6'2", 219. Now, I want you to take a peek at what this dude looks like. He's a stud. And Chip Kelly was at practice the other day, the coach of the Eagles, and he said that when this kid came out of high school, he was one of the most highly recruited kids in the country and looked then like he looks now.
You know, he was a state champion, I believe, in 4 different events in track and field in the state of Washington.
Right.
I mean, he was
unbelievable, right?
Had a bad leg injury a couple of years ago. That ball up into the air and could have been picked off. Kelly hit as he threw, and it falls incomplete with 14 seconds left in the first quarter.
Was that Zadarius Smith? Was that 94 getting back there again?
It was.
Yeah. He's having a ball early in this game, guys. He is winning his one-on-one matchup and winning it decisively on just about every snap.
And it's going to force a 4th down and a 4th and 9. And we're going to have the second punt of the day from Dara O'Neill out of Colorado.
Great kid. Enjoyed meeting him in pregame. He and Sadie just chilling on the bench in pregame. Not too high, not too low, nice and easy.
Mager lets that one bounce, short kick, and it's going to be down near the 30.
Charles, you were like a tourist in pregame.
Man, I get my pictures done.
Are you kidding me?
Listen, I got to report and make sure I tell people that I'm actually where I said I was.
End of the quarter. Charles and Mike Mayock and Daniel Jeremiah and Alex Flanagan get a 3-0 lead here for the East over the West. As Taylor Heineke and Old Dominion coming in next. We're about to start the second quarter in a 3-0 game here, the East-West Shrine game in St. Petersburg, Florida. We are social. We'd like you to be social with us here during the East-West Shrine game. That is hard at work. Daniel Jeremiah taking a rest there down to the sideline. Hashtag AskDJ. You can tweet him at MoveTheSticks. His impressions from the sideline here. Yes, hi DJ. Yeah, what do you got? You tweeting? What are you tweeting? Yeah. Mike Mayock loves Twitter, is what that says. Mike, one of these days, maybe.
What is it?
What's the Twitter?
Yeah, you might let that one go.
We'll see.
You know, somebody once said nothing of any significance has ever been typed with thumbs.
Daniel's quick though. Did you see that?
He is. He's very quick.
As Shaq O'Neal would say, he's amphibious with his thumbs.
Taylor Heineke at Old Dominion is in the game, and he's going to throw deep on his first snap. Deep down the left sideline and incomplete for Dion Long, the speedster out of Maryland.
Dan Long had an interesting week because he's very quick and explosive, but he's working against Shaw from USC, who's in off coverage. Shaw did a nice job turning and running. There was no separation. The way I look at Shaw, Charles, from USC, he's long. He's put together like you can't believe. I mean, the scout said he won the weigh-in. He was the best in a group of put-together guys. He was put together better than anybody, but I think he's a little stiff. I think he's best when he's in a press position.
There's a handoff to Dominique Brown, who one of the coaches this week, as he picks up 9 on his first carry, compared the Louisville back at 6'2" and 240 to Brandon Jacobs, guys.
Yeah, in terms of style, upright running style, big frame guy. Brandon Jacobs early in his career, that was a lot of punch coming at you now. I mean, that was a whole lot of man. Because what was he, 268 or whatever it was, rolling at you young in his career?
Yep.
But I need to go back real quick to Shaw, Mike, because I have a question for you. The way he's put together, a lot of people look at him and immediately go, you know, swinging back to safety. But the way the game's being played, aren't we looking more for what Joshua looks like on the corner?
He's almost 6'1". He's got long arms. He's a press corner in today's NFL.
Larry Dixon on 3rd and short, and Dixon looks to be short, although it's going to depend on the spot here. He needs the 40 for a first down, and the initial view here is doesn't have it.
All right, Coach,
let's go for it.
Well, yeah, it's an all-star game. Let's go for it, man.
Is that Steve Loney over there calling those plays, right?
Now, Steve, I thought the 2 offensive line coaches were awesome to watch.
Terrific, weren't they?
Steve Loney from the East, Howard Mudd from the West. Steve Loney there, coached in the league forever and ever, was with Tampa Bay with Schiano recently.
Dennis Green's staff at one point.
Howard Mudd spent almost 50 years, 50, 5-0, coaching in the NFL. Both of them are outstanding teachers.
Mike Singletary's a good teacher, too, and he's going to bring out the punt team here as we see Howard Mudd there on the sideline. Going to bring out the punt team, and Spencer Roth, who's going to boot it away now on 4th and inches from just shy of the 40. That's Kason Williams out of Washington, who calls the fair catch inside the 10, and that is where the West will start things off. So Mike Singletary doesn't want to risk it.
Come on, coach.
Punt it away.
Come on, coach.
2 minutes into the second quarter. If the East-West Shrine game is a job interview, Mike Mayock, who's made some money this week?
Well, we've talked about Trey McBride already. He's absolutely made money, as has John Miller at offensive line. Jamon Brown is kind of a gifted kid that needs to play more consistently. I thought he had a good week. And Latarius Walton from Central Michigan. When he plays with leverage and toughness, that young man is really special. And one other guy that we should talk about is Chicolo, who's already made several plays in this game, and I thought all week long showed the scouts that he's a better football player than his preseason grade would indicate.
I'm glad you included him.
False start. Offense, number 68. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
They're going to get Mickey Bacchus there, the left tackle out of Arizona. Guys, we have a new quarterback. Cody Fajardo is into the game. All Mountain West honorable mention. He's the guy that came after Colin Kaepernick at Nevada, and he put up some darn good numbers. He and Kaepernick are the only FBS quarterbacks with 9,000 passing yards and 3,000 yards on the ground.
Yeah, Kaepernick went 10,000 and 4,000.
And he's going to throw it to a guy from the Pac-12. That's Austin Hill outside. And he's going to get back too close to the original line of scrimmage. Justin Coleman out of Tennessee there.
Yeah, he tore his ACL, Austin Hill, in 2013. Honorable mention Pac-12 this year. I really believe, and I talked to several scouts throughout the week, and then some of the coaches on the field, Charles, before the game. And the guy they felt like could pop at the next level, who's kind of off the radar, is that young man, Mr. Hill.
He had a monster year in 2012 before he tore his knee up and missed all 2013. This will be the second year after the knee injury. That's typically when the guys really round back into form.
Fajardo drops it off for Zach Zenner, who drops it. Let's go down to the sideline now. Terrence McGee ran well early, and he's standing by Alex Flanagan.
Yeah, so Terrence, you used to being in a running back rotation at LSU. What's it been like being the guy that gets the ball on almost every play in the first quarter of this game?
You know, it's a little different coming from where you're rotating 4 backs at LSU, but it's fun getting the bulk of the carries and just getting out there and being able to play a little bit more and have some fun.
What would you like to show people watching this game, scouts, GMs, and whatnot about yourself?
Just that I'm a complete back. I'm reliable. I'm going to be where I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be there, and that I'm going to play hard all 4 quarters.
Tell me what you've learned this week and what you've liked about being here.
You know, just to go out there and have fun and cherish these moments you have with these guys. The visit we took to the hospital, it was very interesting and fun. And, you know, it kind of changed my life to see those kids go out there and play and have so much joy.
Well, you guys will get back up to you so you can talk about the interception, but quite a meaning behind this game as well. Thank you, Terrence.
Thank you, Alex. Terrence, that's Damian Parms with the interception of Cody Fajardo. Parms out of Florida Atlantic.
It certainly looked like the ball was tipped.
Wasn't much on it. Fajardo has a pretty decent arm. Parms just drops, yeah.
I thought from behind maybe somebody got a piece of his arm, but nice job by Parms coming underneath. I don't mean to. Let's see if he got a piece of his arm from behind.
It's Smith again, guys. Or Zadarius Smith, beg your pardon.
Smith is getting incredible pressure on the quarterback. Give Parms credit that time, undercutting the route. Ball was severely underthrown. Parms took advantage.
And now Taylor Heineke's got great field position here. He's going to hand it to Dominique Brown, who runs left, bounces, spins, and gets decent yardage down to the 5.
Remember we were talking about the comparison of Brandon Jacobs. Did you see how he went through the hole? No pad drop, right? It's all run through, but he got through with his legs through the first cut before he came through. But he's an upright style runner who didn't get very many carries this year. When you go back and look, he had 143 yards in the season opener against Miami. He didn't get 400 yards for the season.
He had 96 touches.
I mean,
you're right.
Because he was in a 3-back rotation in
Michael
Louisville.
Dyer was one of them. Pretty good back on his own.
Brandon Radcliffe is the other one. Once again, it's Brown up the gut, maybe 2 yards, maybe 1. They're going to spot him on the 6. It'll bring up 3rd and around 5. They can get a first down without getting into the end zone.
How about Heineke? 2012, Walter Payton.
Yeah, the Walter Payton Award, which is the top player in the FCS.
Correct.
At Old Dominion, and then they made the transition to the FBS, Football Bowl subdivision. So he played 2 years on the FCS level at Old Dominion, transitioned to the Conference USA on the FBS level. So I like it. I like his production there. Let's see if they try and throw one in the end zone to one of these big receivers.
Taylor Heineke once threw for 730 yards in one game. One game. Here he has it 3rd down. He's going to loft over the middle, loft towards the end zone, and he is going to get picked. That's Josh Shaw out of USC. And he's going to run it out and be knocked out of bounds on the 2.
That ball's got to be thrown up high on the back of the end zone. When you've got a trailer rolling the back of the end zone, the quarterback's got to put it up high. Now here comes Devin Gardner, who gets inside. He wins right now, up high and out front. Now give Shaw credit. He made the play on the football, but that was a bad throw by the quarterback.
Josh Shaw, after Parms had the first pick, back-to-back interceptions in a defensive struggle. 3-0 here, the East over the West.
Welcome back to the East-West Shrine game. Some miscommunication here on the red sideline between quarterback Taylor Heineke and wide receiver Devin Gardner. You guys, after the interception, the 2 players came off of the field talking to each other. The quarterback thought his receiver was going to go low on the route. Meanwhile, Devin Gardner thought he should be at the back of the end zone and that he was going to throw it high up to him.
And Alex, that's typical for an all-star game, okay? That's what happens. It's just mixed signals. And the quarterback, though, once he sees him deep visually, he's got to be able to adjust and throw it up high. You just have to be able to have that gut feel, and Gardner wins inside. The ball's got to go up high and outside.
And remember, that's really quarterback talking to quarterback.
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing.
They were speaking the same language in a lot of ways, even though there was a communication gap there, as they were calling.
And they string this one out. The East defense does. Crockett does get out of the end zone. Jake Ryan out of Michigan there, pursuing him to the sideline. Gain maybe of 2 or 3.
He's an interesting guy. Jake Ryan from Michigan, 41 starts at Michigan, had a terrible knee injury that he had to come back from. He's played several different positions, and I thought he started a little bit slow this week. And once he got adjusted to the speed of the game, They had one-on-one drills with the running backs and pass coverage. I thought he got a little bit better each week. Ultimately, he was voted a captain and the winner of the Pat Tillman Award for this game, which says a lot for his character.
Fajardo back in for his second drive at quarterback. He avoids the rush, avoids the pressure, steps up, avoids the sack and the safety as well, and gets out towards the 9.
And look who helped make the tackle there again. That was Ryan with Quay, linebacker from Georgia Tech. If anything involves contact, you're going to pick Jake Ryan to be a big part of it and help win it.
Nice job, just tucking it down, getting the yards you can into a makeable third down situation by the quarterback, especially, Charles, out of your own end zone.
Better keep an eye on Zadarius Smith from Kentucky. He's lined up at right end on this play. He's been winning most of his battles.
Zadarius Smith wearing number 94. It's 3rd and 5. Oh, and he's going to get drilled in the backfield. Crockett taken down by Derek Lott.
They're not going to give him the safety. They're going to mark it really close, but what a play by Derek Lott from Chattanooga.
It was an X-stunt. It was a defensive end and a defensive tackle exchanging responsibilities, and they missed it. So what happens?
Free runner becomes a free hitter, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And then defensive end crashes down. Lott comes around. He's untouched. Big hit right there on the goal line.
Very close to actually really affecting the handoff. I mean, he almost tackled Fajardo at the time he was sticking it in Crockett's gut.
And very close to a safety as well. It's going to set up 4th down, and now O'Neal has to punt out of the back of his end zone. High snap, he gets it down, and then he gets it away to Craig Mager. Mager at the 40, up the middle across the 30, and Mager gives the East great field position to the 26.
And that's one of the most athletic plays we've seen today, guys. In O'Neal, the punter, catching this snap. Watch this.
Wow.
And I don't know what you guys feel, Mike. What I've sensed over the last 5 to 7 years, maybe even 10, is that we're getting more athletes punting and kicking. Meaning, when you go back into their backgrounds, they did a lot more than just, hey, we pulled him up and, oh, he can kick. And we're talking about O'Neal back in high school. 3 years of soccer and basketball. First team All-State in basketball, averaged 23 points per game. And he was honorable mention All-State in soccer with 35 goals. So you saw the athleticism there where he went up and grabbed the ball, prevented a safety.
Eligible player downfield prior to the kick. Kicking team number 15. That 5-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the play. First down. Timeout.
So they'll mark off the 5 yards. Correction.
Meaning they're going to keep playing.
They're going to keep playing.
He just wanted to minimize, minimalist there. That's all.
Our referee, Clay Martin, out of Conference USA. Taylor Heineke's first drive, he had great field position, and he threw a pick in the end zone. Josh Shaw picked it off. Heineke back in now for another drive out of Old Dominion with Dominique Brown there. Louisville tailback behind him, but it's going to be Brown on the handoff running right, and Brown is hitting the backfield. First guy through there is James Vaughters out of Stanford.
What do you think of that kid? Talk about Vaughters, 55. I'm going to give you mine real quick.
Yep.
Body beautiful. I'm stealing your term, okay? I think he looks gorgeous in a football uniform. I thought he was an inside linebacker. They ended up moving him at Stanford outside linebacker. The feeling was that he overran too many plays. They tried to get him on one side and keep it that way. I just think he looks more to me like a guy who can swing inside.
I think both Vaughters and Tarpley ultimately can play inside. I think they both belong there.
Gain of 3 after Vaughters got in the backfield, so that's going to be 2nd and 7. And again, it's Brown up the middle. And he's hit there by Benjamin Heaney out of Kansas, the tackling machine.
We talked about the power of John Miller. Here he is right here, 315-pound guard. Bend his knees, there's the double team. I like how he stays on the block. So once you get out of position, do you have the balance to stay with, right there, can you stay with the block? And he does. He's got so much more than I think people think, that his upside for me is as a starting guard in the NFL.
And that's supposed to be a double team with he and the center Dylan Day. Day falls off and hits the ground. Miller finishes the play.
It's a gain of 3, and it brings up 3rd and 4. Heineke short drop, fire to the outside. Dion Long has the catch, and he steps out of bounds. But that seems to be, let's see, enough for a first down, and it is to the 10.
Now, this kid, Dion Long, listen to his odyssey. Deion Long went to Hargrave Military Academy. In 2010, he went to West Virginia. Then he transferred to New Mexico. Then he went to Iowa Western and then Maryland for the last 2 years. So since he left high school, he's been to 5 different post-grad or colleges. So what I saw this week was some inconsistency. I saw talent, but I saw inconsistency in the way he went about it. And I don't know if that has anything to do with the way he jumped from school to school to school throughout his career.
He has a lot of males still chasing him, I would imagine.
Deion Long at that JUCO stop had 100 receptions and 25 touchdowns.
Hey, DJ, you talked to Deion Long in pregame.
Oh, yeah, I got a good conversation with Deion.
Who impressed him as a cover guy this week?
Well, one thing as scouts, you always ask players who the best guy you went up against this week. It helps you kind of figure out who the players think is good. So I said, Deion, best player you went up against this week. He looked at me and said, none of them.
Didn't he modify it later?
Afterwards, he couched and said, the kid from Tennessee was all right.
He's one confident young man.
The kid from Tennessee, Coleman, movement left side of the line. Hey, he's honest, right?
He's a receiver. I mean, is that not a receiver to the core?
And he's never been covered.
No one. Throw it to me.
Ball start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
What's our referee's name?
Our referee is Clay Martin.
Does he have enough loudspeaker? I mean, my man is bringing it.
He's got some pipes.
I mean, that bad boy's coming out there now. Yeah. I got to give it to him. He's running this game.
And he calls illegal motion on Darian Miller, the left tackle there out of Kentucky. Second and goal, but they are backed up on the 13-yard line. Again, it's Taylor Heineke, the quarterback, operating out of a shotgun out of Old Dominion. Taylor Heineke, nothing doing, and then he's going to get sacked. No, he's out of it. Heineke now throws it away back of the end zone. Wow. A Houdiniac by Heineke.
He got away from David Parry there, the nose tackle from Stanford. Good coverage. Heineke again in the shotgun. You can see the single high safety here, which is what you have to play in this game. Nobody open. I thought Parry covered him up and had him, and he jumped out of it. Perry looking initially to his right.
Yeah, Perry missed a chance to make the play that you want to make. Finish it off. He does a good job with the pass rush, and he missed a chance to finish it off because Perry, I think, is a little bit more than the one-trick pony knows. I think they can give you some upfield pass rush. He showed it there, but wasn't able to get Heineke on the ground. A nice play by Heineke getting out of trouble and getting rid of the football.
This is third and goal from the 13. Larry Dixon behind Heineke here. Under 5 to go, second quarter. Heineke tall in the pocket and throws incomplete, overthrows his tight end, Kari Lee.
Lee had a good week, and that was just a flat-out bad throw. When you've got every snap, the quarterback knows there's a single high safety in the middle of the field. So what do you want to do? You want to look them off one way and come back to the seam the opposite way. And that's what he did.
And that's Kari Lee with an opportunity to show he's more than a blocker.
Yep.
Right? Because we know that, I mean, that's the scouting report on him. He's a true Y. Guy can block in line, can pass protect. They wanted to see him get downfield with a chance to catch the ball, and he had it.
Marvin Kloss hit a 39-yarder earlier. This is a 30-yarder, and it too is good. And the East has a 6-0 lead in what's all-day defensive struggle so far. Tonight after the game, live post-game coverage along with highlights and analysis of this, the East-West Shrine game. It is NFL Total Access after the game. Don't go anywhere, live right here on NFL Network. And right here in St. Petersburg, Florida. Call it a defensive struggle if you may. We've had a couple of interceptions. We've had a couple of field goals as well. And Mike Singletary's East team leads this one 6-0 over Jim Zorn's West team.
That's why he didn't go for it on 4th and short, around the 40-yard line. Coach Singletary wants to play a defensive game. Fits right into who he is. They gain the advantage in field position, kick the field goal. Got his team up 6-0. That's right up Samurai Mike's playbook. Ready to go.
And he has the lead, and he has his team kicking off here. Kloss kicking off. Cason Williams out of Washington with that shiny helmet. Lets it go over his head for the touchback. Let's go down to the sideline. Alex Flanagan has a special guest. Alex?
Andrew, I think you're probably cool enough to recognize his face. I'm not sure if Charles and Mike are, though.
Wow.
Breaking Bad, one of the stars from the cult TV show Breaking Bad. RJ Mitty with us here. And RJ, you played a character on the show who had cerebral palsy. You have cerebral palsy in real life. You're an ambassador for the East-West for this Shrine game and for the Shriners. Tell me a little bit about why the Shriners Hospital is near and dear to you.
Well, I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy at age 3, and without Shriners, I wouldn't be here today. And so many stories like mine, it's really important to keep the Shrine alive and keep Shriners Hospitals in business. And I really am a big supporter because the impact that they have on children, and not just children, but the well-being of families. And they want people to have a prolonged life. They want kids to have a better life and a better future. And that's the whole point of the Shrine, and that's the whole point of the Shriners, and they do that, and they make that impact. And so many organizations don't, they say they do this, they say they do that, but Shriners actually has the impact. And if you go and you see the Shriner kids, they're all wearing maroon shirts, those are proof of that impact. And me being one, I know firsthand. I went from 3 to 12 years old, and I should have went until I was 18. But I moved to Los Angeles and I didn't have access. But it's interesting because when I was a kid, I drove 5 hours from Lafayette, Louisiana to Shreveport, Louisiana every weekend to get my treatments. And there's so many kids around the country that are doing that. I talked to one that drives 15 hours for her treatments.
Tell me a little bit about this game today and kind of how that correlates to your experience and to some of the young kids out there. We see guys here on the field who are going to have to be versatile if they want to achieve their dreams. You went to Hollywood with a disease that a lot of people might think you could overcome and became a star on Breaking Bad.
Well, I was lucky enough to have the training and the knowledge that people have instilled in me, and like these players and like these performers as well. They have to put their best foot, their best effort in. They have to throw that hat in the ring. And the best thing about this type of game is these are the players that are fighting for that slot. These are the players that want it, and they're fighting hard. And these are my favorite games. I'm a Saints fan. I growing up.
Sorry for you this year.
I know. I'm sad, but I see some of my LSU homies out there. And I love them. I love when I see people that are hungry to fight and that want to win. And these players are the players that want it the most. And it's really a pleasure. And I'm really happy that the Shrine game is what it is today.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. You guys, you heard it here. A little football analysis from RJ Mitty. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
I like it, Alex and RJ. Thank you. As the new quarterback, Dylan Thompson from South Carolina on 3rd and long is sacked by Anthony Chiquillo out of Miami.
Chiquillo's having a big game. Charles and I had talked about how quick he is on his get-off.
Look at this.
Little twist. He comes to the inside. Zadarius Smith chases him up into the pocket. Chiquillo was relentless.
It's almost not fair to have those two bookending.
Yep.
With their quickness. They can play games and do what they want from both sides. Chiquillo's last high school game was an all-star game here. His last collegiate game here in the same stadium.
I had a good story for you on that too, Charles.
O'Neal again punts out of his end zone. This time he's able to get the snap cleanly, use 2 hands, and punt it across the 50.
Before you get to that story, though, Mike, real quick, I think Alex said that you and I aren't cool about the Breaking Bad. So the only thing we would say, Alex, from Mike and me is we just suggest that you tread lightly.
The TV shows that you guys watch.
So there.
So you talked about Chiquillo's last game being here. So was Bobby Hart, the offensive lineman on the West team, played at Florida State. And guess who Bobby Hart was coached by? Howard Mudd.
Wow.
In this All-Star game 4 years ago. So Howard Mudd told me before the game that 4 years ago he went up to Bobby Hart. This kid named Clowney was having a big game. Go ahead, Andrew, pick it up.
No, I've heard it. I've heard him. Clowney's not bad. Here's Heineke again and handing off to Dominic Brown to get to the midfield.
Howard Mudd tells me on the field before the game that this kid, Jadeveon Clowney, was ripping up the Under Armour game in this stadium 4 years ago, and he went up to Hart in the sideline. He said, "Bobby, can you block this son of a gun?" Bobby Hart said, "Yeah, I can, Coach." And he said, "Well, I'm going to put you on the other side. I want you to knock him on his back." And he went out there, and Bobby Hart got Jadeveon Clowney, knocked him down. They were all going nuts. And then at the end of the game, Clowney played well early, but it was Chicolo that got the MVP of the game. So a little bit of synergy coming back.
So he needs to go thank Howard Mudd for moving Bobby Hart over there and helping him out.
Chicolo was a 5-star recruit when he landed there with the Hurricanes, as again it's Dominique Brown carrying to the 45-yard line with Bryce Hager there out of Baylor on the tackle.
Remember Chicolo's grandfather and father, both Miami Hurricanes prior to his arrival.
I asked him on the field before the game, I said, when did your dad play at Miami? And he said 79 to 82. I said, well, that means your dad and I played against each other.
You played against him in college?
Yeah, absolutely.
You beat him, BC? Did you jump him?
Miami wasn't as good back then.
They weren't quite there yet.
But I will tell you, my freshman year down in the Orange Bowl, yours truly made the wrong call on a two-point conversion, and we lost the game.
On 3rd and 2, a little flip to Brown, trying to get to the outside. He gets there, and he gets to the first down marker and out of bounds. Dominique Brown with A.J. Tarpley chasing him, picks up a first down for the East.
Well, misdirection toss. Really good short yardage play. It stresses the backside end, and if he doesn't stay home and get upfield in the proper manner, he's going to get beat to the outside, and you saw Dominique Brown with some speed.
And that is the 2-minute warning as Taylor Heineke and Dominique Brown has the East on the move. 6-0 here. 2 minutes to go. First half of the East-West Shrine game. Shriners Hospitals for Children has made a commitment to changing the lives of children who have orthopedic needs and other life-altering medical conditions. Coming up at the half here, the East-West Shrine game, we take a closer look at one NFL player provides the ultimate game day experience for some Shriners Hospitals patients. Again, that is coming up at the half. And maybe coming up at the half, we get Charles Davis to wear a fez.
Remember the first fez I ever knew, it was called a fez?
Mm-hmm.
Howard Cunningham, the Leopard Lodge.
I think you'd look good in one. I do.
First that Happy Days?
Yep. First one I ever knew was called a fez.
Maybe Alex knows about that show.
Xavier Williams jumps off sides here, it seems. Let's find out from Clay Martin, our referee at a Conference USA 2-minute warning. It's 6-0 here. The East over the West. East with the ball.
Encroachment, defense, number 98. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Or maybe Alex isn't cool enough to remember that show.
You know what Alex is about to say? You two better tread lightly.
Yeah, but we get the last word up here.
Alex called you guys out, said you weren't cool enough. I don't think it's about the Twitter. I think that was a general shot at you both.
Yeah, you know, Alex can lob some bombs. She's allowed to.
She's kind of cool.
She's very cool.
We get a 1st and 5 on the 37, a play fake, and here's Taylor Heineke on the roll. Heineke looks downfield and throws well over the head of Trey McBride out of William and Mary.
And Trey McBride was wide open, created separation. Watch him come out of this break. He's going to get the corner's hips turned, and once he gets the corner's hips turned, he works them out, up, and now watch him get out of the break quickly. And the ball's way overthrown, but he's wide open.
Well-run route. See, I came back downhill,
downhill, 45-degree angle.
I mean, that was just beautiful. This isn't to pick on Taylor Heineke, but tell me if I'm wrong. That's what we saw a lot of this week with the quarterbacks. Opportunities, not able to put it on the receivers, off the break. Some of it was the fields. They practiced outside, and they were wet and slick, but that was a missed opportunity.
Here's Heineke handing to Dominique Brown, who's run effectively here, but not on this one. He's going to lose 2 yards.
And let's be honest, if we're going to talk about the draft and the quarterback position this year, the senior group of quarterbacks is not a good group of quarterbacks. And, we talk about the Senior Bowl next week, and we're hoping that Mariota still will show, and I think he should show. Daniel Jeremiah and I were talking about this the other day. I remember when Phillip Rivers showed up and Marty Schottenheimer and the Chargers staff were coaching that game, and they fell in love with him and took him. And I really think it's an opportunity for Mariota to get in there with the Tennessee staff.
3rd and 6, Andre Davis, a hometown kid here out of South Florida, catches that and gets a first down of the slant to the 30.
And that ball was put right on it. It's a good throw there by Taylor Heineke.
And I'll tell you another thing. I don't know why, and here it is. It's a quick drop. 1, 2, 3. You can tell he's not used to being under center. He didn't have great footwork, but the ball was on target.
Clock winding now, 50 seconds remaining, second quarter, under pressure again. Heineke and airmail to the outside. He had Davis there, and he had his back Brown there as well.
And another thing I don't understand about, I'm talking about the Senior Bowl next week, is why wouldn't the kid from UCLA go to the Senior Bowl? Brett Hundley. I mean, what an opportunity to make a statement. He's a big, strong kid with some physical gifts.
There's some opportunities there next week.
Who's the number 3 quarterback? Everybody wants to talk about Jameis Winston and Mariota in whatever order, but who's 3?
See, and nothing crystallized that more than the frenzy about Cardale Jones. With 3 starts.
Right, exactly.
Actually, if he came out, we were talking about him maybe being the 3rd quarterback. Can someone go ahead and seize those reins? Because Bryce Petty's going to be there from Baylor.
Nice tackle by Ben Heaney, but Bryce Petty, Shane Carden, those are the guys that are going to throw their hats in the arena next week.
Try and be that guy.
Bowl. If I'm Brett Hundley, I'm like, are you kidding me?
I'm coming out and showing you.
Yeah, I'm going to rip it.
And this kid, Afedi, from Memphis State, pretty good-looking prospect at defensive end.
The East takes a timeout here with 33 seconds left, and after running right into the middle of the line. Let's go down to the sideline. Daniel Jeremiah, what do you got?
Well, I'll give you a tweet that I got here. Good question from KC Rockaholic, which we all know is Mike's secret Twitter handle. What should the fans be looking at during a game such as the East-West game? I'll tell you, you want to look at guys getting off the ball, and in this game, Za'Darius Smith, Anthony Chickillo. Don't worry about, guys completing passes. That can be a little overrated in a game where they only practice for a week. But that explosive first step, that means something. Both those guys have done it. And I'll add one more thing. As a scout, special teams are huge. Josh Shaw with the pick today. He's also been one of the first guys down in coverage. He's had a great day.
Good points there, Danny.
Ask DJ is the hashtag if you want to tweet at Daniel Jeremiah at Move the Sticks down to the sideline. 33 ticks to go after the East timeout. This is 3rd down. Heineke flushed out to the sideline, throws downfield. He has Davis, and he can't get him on the goal line.
I'm not sure that was all Heineke, because Davis in the end zone, I'm not sure if he believed it was coming, and then tries to accelerate late after the ball's in the air.
Now, Heineke's been under pressure all day long. Look at the inside move by 99, the kid from Purdue, and then it's a twist with the inside player, number 98, Xavier Williams. So here comes the pressure, athletic enough to get outside of it. Now here's the throw, Charles. Yeah. If you're going to miss, that's where you're going to miss. But that was a good stunt. Defensive end inside, tackle outside.
That was Ryan Russell from Purdue, the first of the end going inside first.
And here's Marvin Kloss trying to hit his 3rd field goal. This one from 47, and this one has all kinds of leg. He hit from 39, 30, and now 47.
His nickname is Santa.
MVP.
Santa Claus has delivered 9 points. All the scoring here with 19 seconds to go. I thought we'd see a little more offense, despite what you guys said about the quarterback play this week. You would still think you'd get a little more going than these 3 field goals for Mike Singletary.
Yeah, well, Kloss is fine with this.
Santa's ripping it.
He's like, no problem. You can do, Dad was a soccer player in Germany of the highest order. Young man acquired his leg and is putting on a show here in his home area. Played over at University of South Florida, USF, in Tampa, just down the road.
He and Andre Davis here from USF, and Kloss is the only one scoring now, 9-0. 19 seconds to go on 2nd down. Mike Singletary ran right into the line, then 3rd down, the incompletion.
All right, let's each of us pick one guy to follow on this kickoff. All right, okay. I'm going to pick a
on the cover
team. I'm going to take the yellow helmet McGee, 15. Who you got, Charles?
Okay, I am going to take Jake Ryan, 39, Michigan.
Who you got, Andy?
I'm going to take Coleman, the Tennessee corner, on the bottom of your screen.
All right, let's see if any of them makes a play.
Okay, here we go. And back to return, oh, by the way.
Run it out.
It's McCain, and he's going to take a knee. Sorry,
it's an all-star game. Go get it.
19 seconds to go here. Hey, guys, the NFL's top draft prospects, as we mentioned, coming up the NFL Scouting Combine. The only way to find complete coverage for that Scouting Combine, a path to the draft, is on NFL Network. The 2015 Scouting Combine starts February 20th, only on NFL Network. It's Dylan Thompson coming out again for his 2nd possession with 19 seconds left. Dylan Thompson, the quarterback out of South Carolina. Connor Shaw back up a 1-year starter.
Great hoops player in high school, guys.
And offered to what, La Tech?
La Tech, Louisiana Tech, home of the mailman, Karl Malone.
9 seconds left. He's going to hand it off to Zach Zenner, who gets drilled in the backfield.
Another good play by Lott from Chattanooga, who's made a couple flash plays here in the first half.
Yeah, he's making Terry Poole, the left tackle from San Diego State, look pretty bad.
Guys, that's it. First half, 3 field goals. The East over the West, 9-0. All you have is 3 field goals. The last one of 47 yards from Marvin Kloss, the South Florida kicker, playing just a couple of miles from his home stadium. Raymond James puts the only points on the board in a low-scoring affair. Down to Alex Flanagan on the sideline.
All right, guys, thank you. Coach Singletary, tell me a little bit about what you've liked from your squad in the first half.
Well, I like the way our special teams have come out and really executed very well. I think our offense is the first offense that we had out did a good job, moved the ball down the field. Overall, I really like the way the offense is taking time off the clock, making it a shorter game. Defense is making plays. I think we're making good breaks on the ball, and our DBs are playing well. D-line playing well.
What do you want to achieve in the second half?
I think in the second half, I really want us to begin to, instead of 3 points, we need to get 7.
6 might be good. Yeah.
Yes, that would be helpful.
All right, get into the locker room and start planning for that. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you very much.
Andrew, back to you.
All right, Alex, Mike Singletary, thank you. 6 would be nice. 7 would be good as well. But it's 9-0 now after 3 field goals. Coming up, the 2015 East-West Shrine Game halftime show. Next Saturday, college football's top seniors are on the clock as they look to impress NFL scouts during their final game. One more to go. It is the Reese's Senior Bowl. It is next Saturday, Mobile, Alabama. We are there all week with wall-to-wall coverage on NFL Network. The game is at 4 Eastern. Down to the sideline, and Daniel Jeremiah.
Yeah, some impressions from that first half, guys. The fellas upstairs, you guys talked about the pass rush. The defensive end stood out to me in that first half. On the offensive side of the ball, no Jimmy Garoppolo here this year. The quarterback play hasn't been great, but the running back, Terrence McGee's done a nice job out of LSU. I've been impressed by him.
All right, Daniel Jeremiah down to the sideline again. You can hashtag Ask DJ. Jim Zorn's team down 9-0. Moments ago, Zorn in the locker room with his West squad.
These guys love what you're doing because you're keeping us in the game. Great job. We're going to try to keep you off the field by sustaining a drive, right, O? Okay? We're going to run the ball. We're not going to change and throw every down. We got to run the ball. We got to take a little pressure off the QB. When he throws it, receivers, go get it, okay? Go get it. And I'm going to mix it up right and left. All right? Let's go do it. Let's go do it. We got the ball first, offense. Let's go.
Let's go, man.
So Jim Zorn in the second half would like to get a little bit more production out of the run game. Minus 20 yards rushing in the first half. He'll start Cody Fajardo in the second half of this game. You guys, he said his defense is playing excellent and that they just need to find a little chemistry, a little rhythm on offense, which is, as you guys know, kind of hard to do in an all-star game.
Alex, it is hard to do. Thank you. I loved, by the way, did you see on the board there, the dry erase board, Charles Davis, Mike Mayock behind Jim Zorn in the locker room? It said score points.
It was very succinct.
Score points.
I mean, you know, just get the message across.
Kind of file that under easier said than done, right?
Exactly.
When in doubt, score points. The East has a mere 21 yards, guys, of offense. Zorn's West team has 123, yet it's Mike Singletary's team with only 21. And we double-check that. Yards of offense that has the 9-0 lead.
I thought Boone was the only quarterback that played at any level where he could sustain a drive. And Charles, he was the one that sustained that first drive that Coach Singletary was talking about.
Sustained it with a run, remember, up the middle to gain a first down. And then he was very sharp throwing the football. Anytime his sight lines were clear, accurate, strong with the football. I think all of the quarterbacks we've seen today, and I know this almost is a duh statement, but because of stature,
right,
I think they're bothered a little bit more by people in their sight lines and people in their face than maybe some of the bigger quarterbacks. But they're used to using their legs, sliding, finding gaps, and in an all-star game, that's tougher to do because your blocking schemes are messed up. You know, guys aren't sure who to pass off and who to get. It makes it a lot tougher for the quarterbacks to be as productive.
Look, it's getting to meet new people, meet new coaches, learn from these new coaches, set yourself up for if you're getting a call up to the Senior Bowl for that, or getting yourself set up for the combine or the interviews or the entire process here on the path to the draft. This is Kason Williams here out of Washington, a wide receiver trying to get back to form after an injury a couple of years ago. Liz Frank had a broken leg, and he takes it back to the 29. You heard Cody Fajardo is going to start the second half. Here he is. We heard something interesting from Jim Zorn this week, and Fajardo tweeted about it, picking numbers out of a hat for who is starting. I'll be playing the second in the first half and starting the second half for all that was wondering. They actually did put names in a hat.
What, did he do that earlier, or did he do that at halftime?
I would hope that
it's earlier.
You don't like the tweeting during halftime?
I'd explode on that one.
Please, that's pregame. Pregame.
That is a
We've got confirmation now. It's pregame. Thank
you. Benching for the second half. Fajardo is going to play fake to Zenner. He's under pressure, and he throws it away as he's ripped down by... It's Rasco out of LSU, and I love this first name. It's Jamarie Rasco.
And boy, did we have fun talking with the coaches about him, Mike.
Yeah, and he does a nice job staying home. Naked bootleg, gets up the field, not fooled by the fake. A little bit of an explosion with this kid. When we talked to the coaches, they said not only was he the one guy in the defensive line room that took notes about every single position, but he also took reps at outside linebacker because he wants to learn that position. They were highly impressed by his work ethic this week.
Rasco's led LSU in sacks the last 2 years, lined up there on the left end at a 4-3 as Zenner gets the handoff out of the shotgun. Zenner's an interesting guy, gets a couple of yards over the left side, 3 straight 2,000-yard rush seasons.
And how old is he?
11.
I mean, it's unbelievable, isn't he? Because that's the first thing you heard when you hit the practice field. He looks like he's 11 or 12, but look at his production. You just mentioned, Andrew, 3 straight years, over 2,000 yards running the football.
I don't care what league you're in.
It does not matter what league you're in. That production's phenomenal.
He's got an innate feel for the game, and he also catches the ball extremely well. He had 95 receptions in his career at South Dakota State.
And a pre-med major who has already been accepted to medical school and the academic All-American in D1. The #1 academic All-American. Fajardo pulled down by Ryan trying to get right.
Yeah, and the receivers ran a bad route there, Charles. You know, 2 receivers were in the same area. There was nowhere to go with the football. You're going to see these guys go here and here. They were right next to each other, and they gave the quarterback who's sprinting to his right absolutely nothing. Look, 2 guys in the same area. That's
which
just
means,
because they...
Which means 2 defenders are there as well.
Yeah, you got nothing, and good job by Jake Ryan just scraping to the outside, staying home, making the tackle.
And what I liked about Ryan on that play, trusted his read and went.
Yep.
And, you know, he's not the most athletic guy going, but you play faster. When you've got the right key, you diagnose,
trust your eyes.
You trust him, and he went, and Jake Ryan did exactly that.
And Ryan got there for a loss of 6, which brings on the punter, O'Neal. So again, Jim Zorn's team with 3 and out. This is Mager on the return. And he gets bottled up on the 37. Twan Jones out of Michigan State is there. 9-0. The East over the West. 13-18 remaining third quarter. It's Jake Ryan on 3rd down, forcing the punt, bring it out to Fajardo. 9-0 game.
One of the stories of this game is a lot of coaches giving back to the community. Deshaun Burns, Linfield Christian High School football coach, and I talked to him before the game. He just had a blast out here. Said he enjoyed it so much, working with the kids. And let's listen to him coach up the kids a little bit now.
They came here, chip. They came here, so you try to climb, right? And then they took the back and loaded and tried to chip, right? So keep working. I get the chip, wham, bam, take it to the back. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome. And I'm the son of a high school coach, so I kind of get chill bumps. And Charles, you too.
Yeah.
Both of us get chill bumps when we see a high school coach doing something he loves like that.
And we both played for our fathers, which you know at the time you might think is difficult, which it was. Okay, because we were the examples of everything. Anything that went wrong, they used us. But at the same time, would we have traded it for the world now?
No way.
Not one bit.
Terrence McGee, the LSU running back in the game, slips in the backfield, loses a couple of yards. We have a new quarterback, guys, here. It's Hudson Mason out of Georgia, a one-year starter, stuck around for a 5th year, waited his time behind Aaron Murray.
Had a nice year, too. I mean, you look at the touchdown-to-interception ratio, 21-4. Pretty good numbers for the young man. And, you know, that's a great football program. He's 6'2", 207, 15 starts overall, and a 65% completion guy. This is a big week for him.
Mason replaces Heineke. It was Anthony Boone out of Duke who started the game. Here's Mason on a rollout. He's going to tuck it. He's going to run across the 40, flag down to the secondary, and he tumbles down to the 47-yard line. It's going to be close to a first down, about a yard shy, but again, flag down.
Remember, his play began the season before down the stretch.
That's right.
When Aaron Murray got hurt. Yep. And so he played and beat Georgia Tech in a big rivalry game.
There's no foul for illegal contact as the quarterback was outside the pocket. 3rd down.
Yeah. But once quarterback's outside the pocket, you do almost what you want out there.
Here's Hudson Mason at Georgia, guys. Again, he stuck around, waited his time when Aaron Murray got hurt last year, came in, and is trying to make something out of that final year.
And he did. Mike has already described what he has done. We talked about him beginning the year before. Down the stretch, a big game and a big comeback win over Georgia Tech. Then in the bowl game, put up big numbers against Nebraska, throwing the football. And that carried over to start this year. I think that confidence boost to carry over to begin the season for him. They opened up beating Clemson and really never looked back. Had a really fine year in his one season as a starter.
Mason knocked out of the bowl game this year, the Belt Bowl, the concussion here. He wants McBride down the sideline, and McBride can't hang on the 15. Callahan there with the coverage.
So it's a double move, a slant and go. We've been talking about this wide receiver, Trey McBride, all day, but Bryce Callahan from Rice does a great job in coverage. There's the pump fake. And now you'll see the route. There's a little hitch, go. Callahan with smooth hips, breaks it up. And I'll tell you, this little Bryce Callahan, I had a chance to see him against Notre Dame this year. He's got 13 interceptions in his career, 33 PBUs, which means he got his hands on the ball 46 times. He's feisty, quick-footed, and tough. He's got a future.
Sorry, it's punt time again, so they're not going to go for it on 4th down. That's Bobby McCain who calls the fair catch on the 15-yard line. Would love to see someone go for it on 4th down. Why not? That time, no. Still 9-0, 11:56 left in the 3rd. Coming up tomorrow, NFL Game Day morning, Russell Wilson sits down and sounds off on the Seahawks showdown with the Packers for the NFC Championship. Plus, Charles Woodson in studio, Dwight Freeney, Reggie Bush, all live on the set. It is NFL Game Day morning tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern Time only on NFL Network. The score here, 9-0. The East on top of the West in St. Petersburg, Florida, Tropicana Field. 11:56 remaining. Have yet to see a team get in the end zone. Jim Zorn from the West team. Halftime speech had the words score points up on the chalkboard. Andrew Siciliano, Mike Mayock, Charles Davis, Alex Flanagan, Daniel Jeremiah. This is John Crockett, the running back, maybe for 4. I mentioned Daniel Jeremiah. Let's go down to DJ on the sideline.
All right, guys, we did the hashtag Ask DJ questions, answering some Twitter questions in the second quarter. We got so many good questions, we're going to go ahead and do it in the fourth quarter as well. One question I got, and I know since you guys are TV buffs up there, as we've established, somebody wants to know if this official sounds like Putty from Seinfeld, so I'll let you figure that out.
Patrick Warburton. Very
wow,
good.
You pulled Patrick Warburton?
Yeah, you know.
Wow, good for you.
I've got to get out. I've got to get out more. I got to get out more. It's very simple.
John Crockett at 4 yards on first down, trying to get to the edge here on second down. He's across the 25. That looks like first down yardage. Edmund Robinson at a Newberry College. Mike had the tackle.
Now here he's got to set an edge, and he gets blown off the ball a little bit by Michael Pruitt. Now he's got outside leverage. He's got to work harder to get up the field and off the block. Good job, though, by the corner coming up and making the play. But he's at a Newberry College. He's 251 pounds, and he's an intriguing prospect, Charles, with his size, his length, and his athletic ability.
Yeah, I think the upside is the word they're going to use with a guy like that. Hasn't played this competition. You know, technique-wise, a little bit raw, but boy, the athletic ability is there. Cam Thomas was the corner who came up and made the play.
Crockett got enough for a first down. Now Fajardo throws deep. He wants Hill down the right sideline. Hill brings it in, but out of bounds.
He got one foot in. That was good at Arizona.
Yeah, not good here.
I think that was good back in at the old alma mater.
Let's take a look. He fought to try and get the second one in, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
There's one.
And he's out.
Didn't get it.
And did not get it there.
No.
Cam Thomas on the cover.
From Western Kentucky.
And he's another guy, I believe, Mike, that we're talking about. Is he a corner or is he a safety?
Right.
And I think from watching him during the week, I think he's more of a candidate to swing back to safety.
I agree with you. He's 6 feet, 195, 11 interceptions in college. I think if he can prove that he understands angles from the inside out and he's willing to tackle, I think he's more a free safety prospect.
Shoot deep on first down, incomplete. Now from the 27, it'll be 2nd and 10. And again, it's Cody Fajardo. How they say the name, Cody Fajardo, out of Nevada. Jason Williams out of Washington, wide to the right, and that's Crockett again in the backfield. Fajardo's going to run. Fajardo slides near the first down marker, but he's going to be just shy of it at the 35. Gain of 8.
You just saw there what was a big part of his game at Nevada, running the pistol offense, was take the quick look. If it's not there, time to go, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah, and Walton's pressuring the pocket. 58 does a nice job pressuring the pocket from this nose tackle right here. And you can see him getting good push on the kid from Indiana, Rarig, and it's just a good reaction by Fajardo.
Found the gap and got into it.
Fajardo had 5 100-yard rushing games in 2014 and 31. He's going to throw a quick hitter and a short drop to Jason Williams, who makes the catch. He's fighting for that first down marker on the 37. I don't think he gets there. Down to Alex, 4th down.
Hey, Andrew, I talked to Cody a little bit before this game. Of course, he went to Nevada. He told me because of Colin Kaepernick. He was there his senior year, was inspired by him, got to sit on the bench, learn from him. He tells me that 100% of the time he was in that pistol shotgun formation. And he said this week about 90% of the time he was under center, which he said was uncharted territory for me. But yet he learned a lot from Jim Zorn. Very appreciative to be here and kind of learn some of the terminology that he'll be required to know in the NFL.
So, Alex, it's an interesting point because here's what they're going to have to deal with between now and the draft. Not only can they have to show they can get under the center and be comfortable, but they also have to show that they can handle the verbiage, number 2. They can get a call in from the huddle through their helmet, spit it out, and form a huddle and get it done. And a lot of these guys, Charles, never in their lives have been forced to do that, and it's difficult.
And Mike, I think what he said to me was, he said it's the order of the verbiage and just kind of knowing it. He knows what it all means, but then being able to relay that to all of the other teammates. Yeah, exactly.
Here's Craig Mager, the defensive back on the 12-yard line. Oh, he's going to get good hit.
Then
Heaney.
Rock Chalk. Jay Hawk.
The tackling machine, Ben Heaney, out of Kansas.
That's what you want, my man. 337 tackles and a big hit on a punt team.
In a 9-0 game, 3rd quarter here in St. Petersburg. At the East-West Shrine game, let's talk financials in a 9-0 game. Mike Mayock, who has made some money this week?
Yeah, it's all about enhancing your draft stock. Austin Hill, a year removed from an ACL, had a heck of a week of practice. 2 quick-footed corners, Bobby McCain from Memphis, Bryce Callahan from Rice. I think they're both better suited as nickels and special teams players, but really impressed by how quick they are. And then B.J. Finney, 3-time captain at Kansas State. I think he can play center or guard, and I think because of that versatility, he's made himself some money this week.
Finney was a walk-on
Yes.
at Kansas State. As Mike said, turned himself to a 3-time captain, co-offensive lineman of the year in the Big 12 this past season, and something that I know scouts and teams love, a high school wrestling champion.
Wrestling. Yes,
Right?
Terrence McGee might have made him some money as well today.
Leverage.
The numbers don't jump off the page. 8 carries for 20 yards at last check, but Terrence McGee, guys, has impressed a bit as well.
He's a little bit like a bowling ball, and I like that in a running back. And Charles and I are former defensive backs. I always like those tall, thin guys. They were easier to get under. And Terrence McGee at 5'9", 220, he's got that low center of gravity. There's nothing soft about him, and it's difficult to get under those guys.
Yeah, you're eating pads.
Pads for lunch.
And he's going to take the handoff here again from Hudson Mason into the game. The third quarterback today from the East, Hudson Mason out of Georgia. Let's look back at some of the plays today, what we've seen, guys, from Terrence McGee.
5'9", 220. Good cut there, makes Tarpley miss. Important to be able to catch the football in the NFL if you're going to be a three-down back. Yeah, we know you can run the ball, but can you catch it? Can you pass protect? And Charles, I like the way he finishes also.
That's what I like about him. Even on the first run when he made the cut and got sandwiched between two linebackers, he finished the run going forward. And nowadays, we talk, as you pointed out, Mike, 3 downs for a running back. But you got to be able to catch the ball on first and second down.
That's
now.
right.
It's not just the third down that you got to be on the field. Not many teams are running it to that level.
And don't hold it against him that he's behind a super freshman, Leonard Fournette. There's the ball over the middle on 3rd and 6 to Andre Davis, and the South Florida wide receiver shows some speed to get to the sideline and get a first down.
Kid missed 4 games this year, so it was important for him to come out and have a good week of practice. Crossing route, good pass protection, quick enough to get outside Bryce Hager, who I thought also had a good week from Baylor.
I think Bryce Hager plays very well in space. Big 12 is a space league.
Also,
not too many people running downhill in that league. Bryce Hager's had plenty of work in pass drops, which is the opposite of his dad, Britt, who played for the Eagles, was an All-American in Texas, who was facing wishbones and power eyes his whole career.
His dad, a 3rd-round pick of the Eagles back in 1989. Again, it's McGee here with the carry. Terrence McGee, as mentioned, behind Leonard Fournette, the super freshman there, as LSU mixed up its running backs, rotated its running backs. And here it looks pretty good. 9-0 the game again. We have yet to score a touchdown, yet to see a touchdown. 3 field goals, the last of which from Marvin Kloss from 47 yards. He also hit from 30 and 39.
I think the rotation at LSU next year is going to be cut down a little bit at running back position.
You think?
I'm not sure they're going 4 deep.
You don't know who's walking on that campus.
I know. I mean the way they recruit, there's probably 2 more Fournettes coming.
How about the 3 wideouts that got drafted last year?
Definitely. Here's Devin Gardner on an end around. Is he going to throw? Gardner, no, is going to tuck and run.
Good discipline on the back end. He wanted to throw the ball. You were right, Andrew. He wanted to throw the ball, but Mumphrey was covered down the field, and Gardner did the right thing.
And that's a real check mark in a game like this, because guys get out of their technique and out of their discipline, but not in this case, huh, Mike? Look at the DBs.
Great job by both DBs. And Devin Gardner, and you know him better than I do now, Charles. You can see the eyes, but at 6'4", 217 pounds, I don't know what he is, but I think he's tough. I think he's smart. I think he's going to make a living as a football player. I'm just not sure where yet.
Yeah, and I think that we need to come back, and we won't have another game as we see this carry here.
Oh, good hit there.
Good job filling the hole. We don't have another game to see him.
Right.
But he has gone from quarterback the last 3 years, really, to wide receiver. And I will tell you that this week has been a shock to his legs.
Right.
Because now you're doing that type of running down, play in and play out as a receiver he hasn't had to do before. So I'd love to see him in about a month and a half of pure training as a receiver to see how he goes through things, if he's able to run his routes better, his cuts. You're right, Mike. We're not sure what he is, but I'll tell you guys this. Put him on a board and have him talk football with you, and you're going to say, I've got to try and find a spot for this kid, because he's going to be able to talk football with you all day long.
Here's the punt to Washington's Payson Williams, who Mike lets it bounce, takes a big hop at the 25 and goes out of bounds on the 18 for the East. The West get it going again, 9-0 in the third. Last night here in St. Petersburg, the East-West Shrine Game Hall of Fame banquet. How about Tommy Frazier and Jim Hannafin going into the Hall of Fame for the Shrine Game? The Pat Tillman Award goes to Michigan linebacker Jake Ryan. And then we had 2 Haitian ambassadors here as well. Joe Dertinger and Katie Ladley. Down to the sideline, Alex Flanagan with a couple special guests.
Well, So, Andrew, I have two. You just mentioned who they are here. They were players in the East-West Shrine game. Jim Hanifin in 1955. Tommy Frazier played in this game in 1996. You have also coached, Jim, in a number of All-Star games, including this one. So not a lot of offense. Can you explain to me why that happens in these type of games?
Well, number one, you're going to only have, you've got about 5 days for these guys all together. Not even a week. That's kind of tough. And sometimes the quarterback, he's been in the center all the time, and now all of a sudden you got him in the shotgun, or what they call the pistol formation now. Totally foreign to him. And a lot of these things, I mean, it's really hard to bring a whole group of guys together in 5 days. Actually, let's see, Monday you got in here, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you had a walkthrough yesterday, and that's it.
Few days in pads. One of those quarterbacks was Tommy Frazier back in 1996, played at Nebraska, of course, in an option type offense. So what was that adjustment like coming in and playing in a pro style offense?
Well, it was tough because when you're not used to taking snaps in the center and dropping back, you know, it's a learning curve. So what they will teach you was to focus on fundamentals, focus on your footwork, and we'll take care of everything else. And so when you're not used to doing that on an every down basis, it's tough.
But it's an opportunity to show that you can do it, right? Yeah,
and that's why I did it. Came to the East-West Shrine because I knew that I can do it. The offense I played in didn't let me do it a lot, but when I came here and did it, you know, I kind of impressed them a little bit.
Jim, so many years around football, what does it mean to you to be in this game's Hall of Fame?
Well, it means a great deal. I would say probably the #1 honor of all I've received.
Wow.
And the fact that this game is more than just a football game. This game is really something special, and that is played for the kids. And all of us that played in this game, we come away from it with unbelievable feelings about the organization, about the Shriners, about what they do for all the kids. And I mean, so many, millions kids have gotten treatment, etc., from the Shrining organization.
We saw that a little earlier, you guys, in Breaking Bad's R.J. Mitty, one of those kids back in the day. Thank you both, and congratulations on your Hall of Fame status. Enjoy. Back up to you, Andrew.
Alex, thank you. Great to see Jim Hanifin. Great to see Tommy Frazier here as well, and great to see the kids in the stands in a 9-0 game here. The East-West Shrine Bowl, 9-0, the East on top of the West. Taylor Kelly on 3rd and 1. The Arizona State quarterback scrambled for a first down, and here he's going to run again and slide, get a couple of yards, mark him down just shy of the 40.
And Chickalow again beating Cameron Clemens, the right tackle that time, and it forced him up in to the hole for 2 or 3 yards. But Chickalow again having a guy, you know, it was fun talking to him before the game, Charles. Just total energy. He was one of the earliest guys. That's him closest to you. He gets the edge on the right tackle, forces the quarterback up into the pocket. And his whole point was, I wanted to show people that I was more athletic than they think I am. And Charles,
mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
Chickalow beat Cameron Clemens there, the tackle out of Western Kentucky. Here's the running back out of Texas, Malcolm Brown, on the 2nd down carry. Give him the 42-yard line, and Quayshawn Neely out of Georgia Tech with the tackle.
To finish up on Chickalow, you remember Wednesday at practice, Mike? We were there now watching the linemen work, and they called the D-line over to do some one-on-ones. And he got the first get off, and you remember the collective. Ooh.
Well, you and I were standing there 10 yards away with Greg Schiano.
Yep.
And Greg Schiano, all three of us went, oh my, how about that get off?
Yeah, we were pretty, you know, I think he's kind of athletic.
A little bit. Pretty good athletes at wide receiver here. Cason Williams on the left side. Austin Hill, a couple of Pac-12 guys on the right side. A Pac-12 quarterback here on 3rd and 6. Will throw to Hill. Gets tripped up by Coleman from Tennessee. He had some room if he got behind him.
Yeah,
he felt the contact before there was contact.
Exactly right, Charles.
It's kind of like if you're in the lane in basketball and you anticipate the contact and people back off of you and you end up stumbling.
Yep.
That was similar to that play for Austin Hill, because if he doesn't sense it, he's turning and he's still running, and they're chasing him right now.
Had a chance to make a play, didn't he?
Yes, he certainly did. And I had a chance to talk with Cason Williams before the game, and I'll try and finish after this play depending on what happens, because so much speculation about what happened for him his senior year with his lack of production.
Up in Washington, there though was Hill out of Arizona. He had the first down in to East territory, 49-yard line, and that is the final play. A Brown run, Malcolm Brown run on 3rd down. Still without a touchdown, guys. Mike Singletary said to run the ball, control the clock. That's what he's doing. 9-0 here. Maybe a touchdown in the 4th quarter here in St. Petersburg. Daniel Jeremiah wants a tweet from you. Can you hashtag him, please? Ask DJ at Move the Sticks. He is sitting down there on the sideline here at Tropicana Field, the East-West Shrine game. Ask DJ. He wants you to tweet him.
He's getting more questions than he can possibly keep up with. He's going to be on the DL with both thumbs wrapped when we get to Mobile. He's going to have to ice down the whole deal.
Look at the socks. Oh, we had it. We had
his socks.
Darn it.
You don't like his socks?
He's looking good.
I was going to say how stylish he is.
Looking good.
Apparently, he and Alex are the only 2 cool people here today.
Alex Flanagan, Daniel Jeremiah on the sideline. The voice there of Mike Mayock, Charles Davis. I'm Andrew Siciliano. It's a 9-0 game. And here we go, starting the 4th quarter.
Oh, we got him, and he tackled him.
Kelly was drilled by Rasco.
Double move again,
double move, and they got him. Now, Rasco's going to get the quarterback, but the corner, 21, Coleman, got beat on the outside. Good move by Rasco to the inside of Backus, the tackle from Arizona.
Way he set it up.
Now,
look at that.
So, great job by Rasco, but 21 Coleman got beat badly on the double move.
He had him. Yep. He bought that first fake that Taylor Kelly on the pump fake. But how about Rasco? He set up Backus, upfield shoulder, then came inside across his face and got to the quarterback. Rasco is a guy that had a very nice week in getting the attention of his coaches about how much he wants to be a good football player.
It's a loss of 6, and again, Kelly's under pressure. This time he's going to scramble, get across midfield, across the line of scrimmage. They're going to mark him down shy of the 45 on the 46. Jake Ryan out of Michigan there. It's a gain of 8 after a loss of 6 on the sack.
I always like to look at tackles after they get beat, okay? Backus got beat badly on the previous snap. This time, on the next pass play, he did a nice job taking that defensive end, Rasco, and driving him up the field, allowing his quarterback to step up in the pocket.
And Daniel was talking earlier about how much he liked guys with experience.
There's the play before where he got beat. Now the next play, he did a great job.
Came right back and got it.
4th and 7, guys, and they're going to keep Jim Zorn. Jim Zorn's going to keep the offense on the field. Hard count. Chicolo jumped, no flag, got back. And it's a 4th and 7. Need the 39-yard line. Kelly pressured by Chicolo, throws on the run. That's complete to Hill, and he's got a first down across the 35. Gain of 12.
Wow. Chicolo easily beat the right tackle that time, Clemens. Forced him out of the pocket. He's just too quick for Clemens.
And he's really got the matchup you want, because what you're going to get is that right tackle is the one that you identify typically as you move to the NFL. If you're going to beat a guy, that's where a lot of those pass rushers are hiding themselves and going against the right tackle. And Clemens has had a tough time dealing with the speed rushers, whether it's Chicolo or Zadarius Smith today.
Kelly's going to hand this time to Brown, and the Texas running back really has nowhere to go. Hemmed in, maybe back to the line of scrimmage.
And that play was diagnosed well and played well. Who was that out there in the end? Was that Chicolo against the run, or was that someone else against Clemens 52? Because they strung the play out and never allowed it to bounce outside. Malcolm Brown kept wanting to get to the edge, could not get there. Take a look to the right side of the line of scrimmage. Chicolo there, and then right, see Clemens, that's Mount number 48, Deontrez Mount. Excellent job, got upfield, held the edge, nowhere to go for Brown, pursuit from inside out, got it. Good fundamental play outside.
For no gain, they string it out as Kelly now drops to throw on 2nd and 10, and is going to loft one deep. That's Blake Bell, the former quarterback who draws the flag inside the 5.
Justin Coleman, the corner from Tennessee.
He'll get the penalty. I'm not sure this was his coverage, though. It almost felt like he fell back into it. Let's take a look and see.
Well, he should have been called several plays ago.
But they got the sack.
It's karma.
They're talking this over. Clay Martin out of Conference USA is our referee.
There's no foul for defensive pass interference. Third down.
They're going to pick up a pass interference call, guys.
Boy, we haven't seen that recently in the NFL, have we?
There's the bulldozer right there, 80, Bell from Oklahoma. He's running the deep corner route, and Charles, I got a feeling that was his coverage. He's got deep outside, I believe.
Yeah, and he ended up in it.
He didn't read number 2.
Right, he ended up in his coverage zone. Deep, you're supposed to be deepest,
right.
The deepest, but you're exactly right. He read the first guy, didn't see the second guy breaking into the zone, then tried to recover late. Fortunate they picked up the flag, didn't get the call. Blake Bell, the former quarterback, the Belldozer.
The Belldozer, 24 rushing touchdowns as an Oklahoma quarterback. The Belldozer is 6'6", so he had the size advantage there.
But if he wants to learn how to really be a tight end, it's not hard. Dad, who was an NFL tight end. Uncle. You guys want to break down a few drills with the kid? Help me get better? Yeah, they can get that done.
13th play of the drive. Kelly chased by Chicolo. Kelly throws near the sideline and throws it into the stands. Wow, Chicolo is all over the place.
He's trying to be the MVP
again. The same thing. Under Armour MVP 4 years ago in high school. And here he is right here working on that right tackle, Clemens, and he's been beating him like a drum all day, up and under, using quickness to cross the face, and then quick enough to get outside and flush the quarterback.
I mean, that was fast. How about the hands?
Yep.
All right, showed up and came back inside. Kelly's done a nice job running for his life, trying to keep plays alive.
And it sets up a 4th down, and the West is going to trot out its kicker, Nicholas Sadie. Guys, his career long is 50. This will be from 51. So a new career long for NC State's Nicholas Sadie, if he can drill it, and he does.
And what is his Twitter handle again, Andrew?
His Twitter handle is Smooth Operator, Charles. Like Sade.
Because it's spelled S-A-D-E.
And it's 9-3. Got a one-score game now, 9-3. Listen to Mike Singletary coach him up.
Nice break, Tennessee. Good job. Hey, nice play over there. Good job. There you go. There you go. Come on now, pick this up.
Mike Singletary, former San Francisco 49er head coach for 2 seasons, Hall of Fame, class of '98, his East. Playing ball control, gentlemen, like man. Charles Davis leading 9-3.
You know, it's kind of cool, Charles. All these all-star games that we go to every year, the distinguishing characteristic is the helmet you wear, because you get to wear your own helmet. And the coaches don't know you from Adam, so what do? They
call you by your helmet
Georgia.
at your school.
Hey, Tennessee. Hey, BC. And it's really cool to see these guys working with them.
Gonna call you guys BC and Tennessee for the rest of it. Mumphrey from Michigan State is back to return. Bring it in. No, he'll take a knee. Halfway back in the end zone for the touchback, 9-3. Let's go down to Arizona with a guy from Miami.
Yeah, Anthony Chicolo just lighting it up here. Now let's talk a little bit about what's allowing you to play so fast today. You're playing in a 4-3 defense, used to a 3-4 in Miami, right?
Yeah, used to playing in a 3-4, more 2-gap. I appreciate Coach Singletary, giving us a 4-3 so I can show a little bit what I can do with my athletic ability.
Look behind you. You guys are razzing you. All right, let's talk about kind of the speed that you've been able to play with today, and kind of what does that give you in terms of future and where you might fit in the league.
I'm just I've taken this whole week as a job interview. Come out every day, just really try to compete and get better, absorb the coaching that I'm getting from Coach Burns and Coach Singletary, and I'm just trying to get a shot at the NFL, and whatever team lands me, I'm just going to come in and work hard.
How much has the coaching and the scheme today allowed you to be aggressive?
That's pretty much what the whole thing is. We're running a 4-3, get off and you just play. So I'm just out here playing ball.
Where did you get that get off?
I've always had it. In college, I was asked to, 2-gap, but I've always had it. But I'm happy I get to use it out here today.
He is using the get off for sure. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Back up to you guys.
Alex Flanagan with Anthony Chicolo. You had his guys doing the U sign behind him. I could hear Warren Sapp and Michael Irvin yelling, "You know it." somewhere back in Los Angeles. Here is Dominique Brown, the running back out of Louisville, across the 36. Guys, coming up on 10.5 to go. The East on top of the West, 9-3. Mike Singletary, I joked earlier, said he wants ball control offense. I assume that's what we're going to see now.
I just want to see some kids have an opportunity to show what they can do. We've seen Chickalo and what he can do, given a 4-3, get up the field, go hunt the quarterback. Nice to see Dion Long catch a pass right there. I mean, I think to do justice to the kids, you do what he's doing right now. Throw the football, keep playing.
Yeah, I think Steve Loney's locked in on that.
On a first down, a short drop. Mason hits Davis on the slant, and Davis has some room to work across midfield. Across the 40 to the 45, where Kansas, Benjamin Heaney brings him down.
This is a well-timed slant route, and that's the hard part, is the timing in these things. He's just going to come down, first window throw. He beats Heaney 41.
And Mason sharply put it on him, too. I mean, I think that Mason, Heineke, all these quarterbacks I've seen have pretty much lived up to the scouting reports. If they have sight lines and are in rhythm, ball's right there. You know, it's when things break down a little bit and the timing gets chipped away. I think that's where we've seen the struggles from the quarterbacks today.
That was good for 19. The longest play by either team today. And it's a first down, and Mason off the play fake, fires left, and he hits Devin Gardner just shy of the first down, called a gain of 8.
And I thought Josh Shaw might have a chance to make a play. And you'll see some stiffness when he's off, trying to come out of that break. He comes out of it with tight hips just a little bit. And I want to see Devin Gardner come back just a little bit more, Charles.
Yeah, come back to the ball a little more.
Come back to the football. Don't wait for it. He knows as a quarterback, he appreciates when a wide receiver did it for him.
Yep.
He needs to return the favor.
Yeah, that's where at the end of the play, Devin's frame probably saved the play. You know, because he didn't come back far enough.
Right.
But because he's 6'4", 218, 219, hard to get through that to get to the football.
Officially, it's a gain of 9, and it's Gardner's first catch of the day. He had 18 career receptions at Michigan. Little play fake, and Mason's going to roll out under pressure, throws on the run, sliding and making the catch. That's Dion Long.
Nice conversion, I thought, by Dion Long as a receiver, because it was a pump and go. Supposed to take it deep, realized it was covered, and then came back to the ball.
Right.
And Mason kept it alive by getting outside the pocket. Didn't have the deep ball, but notice his receiver came back to him, and a nicely thrown ball by Mason, putting it on him.
Gains of 19, 9, and 13 on consecutive plays here by the East as the clock winds under 8 to go.
And all of a sudden,
got a little rhythm
to this offense. Quarterback is in rhythm. It's fun to see.
23-yard line. Again, the quarterback is Hudson Mason out of Georgia, one-year starter, waited his turn behind Aaron Murray. And here's the big running back, Dominique Brown out of Louisville. He has a first down.
Dominic Brown finishing. How about what are you seeing down there, DJ?
John Miller, again, watch him here, number 7. You just watch the movement he gets here at right guard. Just completely wash his man down the line of scrimmage. He's had a great week of practice, and he's delivered on game day. Mike, we talked about the 3rd round for this guy. I think that's where you're going to end up going.
Well, that's why I said that, DJ.
I listen to you, see, Mike. See, you listen to me for sock advice, Mike. I listen to you for round advice.
I like the vision of Dominique Brown, guys, on that one. Seeing where that hole was and getting right to it and hurdling himself into the secondary.
And took down Stanford safety Jordan Richards at the end. Brown, 13 carries, 54 yards. Here's a throw to the outside. Dion Long wrestled down quickly by Bobby McCain out of Memphis.
Quick-footed corner. Came out of that break very, very nicely. It looked like you had something for Dion Long there, but McCain came out of his break.
The only thing I would say is look at the distance, though.
Yeah, they're not allowed to press till it gets in the 5-yard line, but it's a flat-footed read. He just stood there, read it, and drove on the football, and then made a sure tackle.
I know they can't press, but he was 10 off. Yeah. Even on a flat-footed read.
How about these Memphis defensive players? Three Memphis guys in the starting lineup. All 3 of them have a future, I think.
2nd and goal. It's Brown again running left, and this time nowhere to go. 93 got in there first.
Travis Ricidi.
Thank you, Mike.
He's playing some defensive end, but he's a defensive tackle really from San Jose State. 6'4", 292, kind of a short arm guy, which means he's probably going to make a living inside. 31-inch arms.
8.5 sacks as a sophomore, 2-time academic all whack. Travis Rossetti, there he is right there.
Just, you got to stay home on that backside. Nobody's blocking you.
He didn't over pursue it, stayed on the backside, and the runner came back to him. You know, the one disappointment, if you want to call a real disappointment, we haven't seen Wes Saxton catch a ball from the University of South Alabama, who's been on the field.
He limped off the field a little bit earlier. I don't know.
I think I see him back in the huddle now.
Yeah, he limped off.
I thought we might see him catch a few passes today and get open.
Time out of the field, taken by the East, 9-3, and a 3rd and goal when we come back. Tonight, after the game, post-game coverage live along with the highlights and the analysis from the East-West Shrine game. It's NFL Total Access after the game. Don't go anywhere. NFL Network, maybe we get a touchdown here. It is 3rd and goal, 7-yard line for the East team in a 9-3 game with 5:21 to go. That's Hudson Mason out of Georgia, the quarterback.
Backside slant, Dion Long.
The Maryland wide receiver lined up wide to the right. He looks that way. He tucks it. He's going to run, and he's not going to get there. Tackled, wrestled down on the 2.
Pull the trigger.
You called it, Charles.
Throw the ball, young man.
Now, if he throws it in between those 2 linebackers, it's a touchdown. He gave up on it too early. I think Charles Davis had that one right. He looked the one way, came back knowing he's coming to his right, didn't pull the trigger. And that's one of the tough things for quarterbacks in the red zone. You have to make the decisions, and it's so compacted. Sometimes, Charles, it's difficult to pull the trigger.
And they are coached to within an inch of their life about not turning the ball over
in the red zone.
And so they don't make that throw.
Is Marvin Kloss the MVP? This is his 4th field goal. It's good from 19, basically an extra point. Chickalo. Or Chickalo, 12-3. It's a 12-3 game, East-West Shrine game, 4:33 to go. Daniel Jeremiah down there on the sideline. What do you got?
Well, look, answered a lot of questions, Andrew, on the hashtag AskDJ, but the NFL Network Twitter account, they sent out a little different message here. Hashtag if Mayock had Twitter.
Oh, boy.
And we got some pretty interesting answers here. You look there on the screen there. Twitter would break. Okay, that makes sense. You'd have to put on the tape, as Mike would say. North Korea would surrender is a solid one. But that's not my favorite one of the bunch. We had one more that was just even a little bit better. Mike, you might recognize this one from your daughter, Lee Mayock. I would leave.
Atta girl, Lee. Atta girl. Weigh in. Weigh in for Dad.
You know, she used to tell me I needed to be on Twitter. And now she's saying no. You know, you've kind of developed your own little deal here where you're anti-Twitter.
But I heard the first time you not as staunch. I mean, I about fell off my chair earlier today. We'll see. We'll see.
You're thinking of that.
I was just trying to end the conversation.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
Here's McCain, the corner, bringing it out. He's going to get across the 25-yard line. West takes over down 9.
That's funny.
That's pretty good. There's Wes Saxton.
Yep.
Talking about the tight end, Wes Saxton there. One of the guys we came in certainly excited to see. Jim Zorn coaching the West. His team now has to rally down 9. Still 3 timeouts remaining with 4:27 left on the clock. We haven't exactly seen the offense that we thought we were going to see. Maybe the last couple of minutes here with Dylan Thompson out of South Carolina jogging onto the field surprises.
And the best pass rushers are on the field. Zadarius Smith, 94 Kentucky, wearing a blue helmet, wearing a white jersey. And Anthony Chickalo, number 95 from the University of Miami in white jersey on the opposite end. This is their opportunity.
They're the right and left ends, respectively. And here is Thompson with a pump fake. And he's looking deep and throwing down the sideline. And he is going to get picked off on the far sideline by Parms. It's his 2nd pick of the game.
And that was pretty easy, so to speak, taking nothing away from young Mr. Parms. But, Mike, if Dylan Thompson didn't just stand over there and deliver a total letter like I'm coming here, I don't know what he did.
Yeah, double move.
But watch Thompson. He just stared that down the whole way. That was just one receiver. He did the pump fake, but there was nothing else involved.
No, and you know what? In this game where there's a single high safety, All you've got to do is read that quarterback's eyes.
Read him and go.
What I don't understand is after he made the interception, why did he just kind of
run to score?
Kind of lollygagging. 21-yard return, but it could have been more.
I love the fact that he was there and made the pick. I just didn't understand the return.
Did you call him a lollygag?
A little bit there. A little bit. Anthony Boone back in the game at quarterback, and he's going to hand once again to the man of the hour, Dominic Brown, who still keeps running right through that West defense.
And you notice which side he leans to when he runs the football. I don't care where the play's called. He finds his Louisville duo on the right side.
His two offensive linemen.
Miller and Brown, and he bends it back that way more times than not.
It's an 11-yard carry for Dominic Brown. So Parms has a couple of picks there. Chicolo has looked good at defensive end, certainly for the East. Dominic Brown is running well, now 15 carries and 64 yards. This is his 16th carry, but that one's going to go nowhere. Tyler Davison leading the charge the first time.
All Mountain West 3 times, 6'2", 315 pounds, interior player. He's solid as the day is long. Here he is right here. Nice job on the double. They're trying to do a combination block. The guard left early, and Davidson made the play.
They moved him around a lot at Fresno State. You saw that on tape, I'm sure, Mike, because they tried to find matchups in individual situations, and they put him where they thought the best matchup was, whether it was at end, tackle, nose. Didn't matter if you're nickel, whatever. That's what they were looking for. Man, they called the Rhino, another high school wrestling champion. Excellent leverage.
Boone is going to look that play clock, certainly stayed in the huddle a while. Play clock, though, now at 15, so proves me wrong. Brown gets his 17th carry of the day, and he gets 2 yards. The tackle there by the linebacker, 51, Zach Vigil.
It would be fun to see some red zone pass routes and coverage, though, wouldn't it? I mean, I would like to see those guys have to react, you know, your pass protection, see how that works. Guys able to rush the passer here. Love to see these receivers get a shot against these corners down deep.
Only a certain amount of things you can get in 5 days.
Yeah, it's
in
tough
really
to do.
4 days of practice.
It's hard to do.
That's why the offenses are always so inconsistent in these games. You just don't have the time to develop that timing and cohesion, where defense is just about, okay, fly to the football.
Find the ball and go.
Let's go.
Mike Singletary's going to milk that clock right down to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes remaining. 12-3. The East in a game that has featured 5 field goals. Trying to put this thing away.
2015 East-West Shrine Game is brought to you by Shriners Hospitals for Children. Helping children, protecting children. We call it love to the rescue.
All right, this is going to be cool. Super Bowl live set Thursday, January 29. Katy Perry is going to join us on NFL Network. And then, of course, on Sunday, the first Super Bowl Sunday, the halftime show, Super Bowl 49. Katy Perry in Glendale at University of Phoenix Stadium. Charles Davis, your favorite Katy Perry song?
Dark Horse.
There you go. He knew one.
Didn't she kind of put the hex on the quarterback from
young man in Oklahoma. That man Oklahoma, Trevor Knight.
She was like, "Oh, call me in the ESPN pregame show," and the guy was horrible.
And they got beat that day, 37-33, and threw the pick 6 to Paul Dawson to help finish things off.
Anthony Boone to Devin Gardner, who's inside the 5, down to the 4 with a first down and a 1st and goal coming up here.
Well done, Devin Gardner. You know what I liked about it, Mike? When he caught the ball, what'd he do? Got right upfield, didn't he?
Yeah, and the physical. Watch him finish. Drop the shoulder pads and finish, and that's what Charles.
That's what he needs to do.
He's going to have to make a living initially on special teams. He's going to have to be a core special teams player to buy himself time to learn that position.
Yes.
You know what I want, guys? I want a touchdown. I want a touchdown.
It almost sounds like a cheer.
It is. I'm not trying to be greedy. Dominic Brown running right. Brown pushing the pile. And he's going to be just shy. They're going to mark him down inside the 1 with the clock winding towards 1 minute to go.
I'll tell you guys something real quick. You notice Devin Gardner is wearing number 98, right?
Correct.
That's Tom Harmon's number at Michigan, old number 98. They're All-American, all-time greatest player. Yesterday, Mark Harmon called Devin and talked to him about this game and said, my dad played in this game in 1941.
Wow.
And not only did he do that, that game was in San Francisco, that's where he met my mom.
No way.
How about that for the East-West Shrine memory? And Devin continuing to wear 98 for Tom Harmon. Mark Harmon, the son, truly appreciates it.
Harmon, the first Michigan Heisman winner. Here's Brown out of Louisville, and Brown is into the end zone. We have a touchdown.
And now you can go home happy, big boy.
First and only one of the day, in all likelihood. Mike Singletary is happy. He's going to be a winning coach today here for the East.
Good push up front all day long. That offensive line. This time David Andrews is at center. It's just a little zone play to the left side. Shane McDermott, the typical center from Miami, is playing left guard.
Yep.
70 Miller. Feel like he's played the whole game long, Charles. That right side's been Louisville all day long.
This is a great run by Brown, though, wasn't it? In terms of being physical and pounding it in there. His legs got to be pretty fresh. He hadn't had that many carries this year.
You're right. I think he and McGee have been the two good tailbacks that we've seen have really kind of burst on today.
Happy to be out of that rotation, right?
It's a 6-play, 28-yard drive, chewed up 323, and Dominique Brown gets the 17th touchdown, let's count it, of his collegiate career at 16 at Louisville.
But look how he drops the shoulder there. Remember we talked about his upright running style? He dropped the shoulder and was physical, getting in, getting there. And then Jamon Brown, who's been knocking people off the ball all day for him, almost throws him out of the building.
Let's take a listen to Mike Singletary talking about his running back down there.
Yeah. They can find the hole like a linebacker got to find the hole.
Yeah, I'd make him a linebacker quick.
He's got the right size for it.
Surprise, surprise, Coach Singletary. I'll make him a linebacker.
Man, a few words, but hey, I'll make him a linebacker.
Anybody physical can run like that. He sees a defender.
Well, might have a future as a tailback as well. 19 carries, 70 yards, and a touchdown for Dominique Brown. Gentlemen, by the way, the Brown touchdown helped us avoid the first East-West Shrine game without a touchdown since 1972. It's been 1972 since we had gone without a touchdown. Here's Bobby McCain, the corner, and he has room to the outside. McCain wrestled out of bounds and thrown down near the 40. Robinson out of Newberry got him.
And this is not, I think anytime the ball's kicked inbounds in one of these games, you ought to return it.
Should be the rule.
You know, who cares? Try to make something happen. He did a really nice job. And we talked about how he has got quick feet. Derek Lott, the defensive tackle, was the first guy down the field, makes somebody else miss, gets to the sidelines, doesn't run out of bounds. That's how you make impressions in these kind of games.
And that's where I've been most impressed with Lott from Chattanooga today.
Special teams.
Special teams.
You're exactly right.
He's flashed a lot on these special teams, even if he's not getting credit for all the plays. He's played with enthusiasm in those.
Dylan Thompson is the quarterback here for the final couple of plays for the West. Down 2 scores, down 16, 19-3. They're going to throw to the flat to Zenner. Haven't seen much of him today, and we're not going to see it here.
I played in the blue-gray game in 1981 on Christmas Day. And
the Gatorade bat from Mike Singletary.
Howie Long got the MVP for blocking a punt when you weren't allowed to block punts.
Hey, break the rules. Why not?
Here comes the dunk.
Oh, that is great. Did you ever, Mike, you're good friends with Howie. Did he ever tell you about his last Pro Bowl when he knew he was going to retire and he hadn't told everyone?
No.
And you know, the Pro Bowl, you kind of brother-in-lawed a little bit on all that. And Howie's like, well, I went out there because it's going to be my last game. He said he was that bull rushing and shredding people. The guys were like, Howie? Oh, yeah, my bad.
He's in Seattle today. He texted me to ask me if we were doing this game today, and he said he was going to be watching. So, Howie, if you are, what's happening, brother?
I still laugh. He told me that story. He said, you know, I knew I was going to quit, but no one else did. So I was kind of juiced up for the game. He said, ball snapped. He's off the ball. He's in the backfield, pounding quarterbacks. And they're like, Howie?
More on that NFC Championship game that Howie Long is about to see in person tomorrow. Coming up on NFL Total Access, the post-game show. After this, the East-West Shrine game. Thompson throws deep. Brown cannot circle back for it. Incomplete at the 16 with 3 to go.
Actually had Brown there if he could have gotten the ball out there, yeah.
Got to be happy for Mike Singletary here, guys. He was stoic. He was very much Mike Singletary when we met him this week to talk about his team.
I love the meeting. The meeting was well organized with the coaches, and I love how he set it up in the beginning. We're not going to do a lot of the talking about what the background and all that other things are. What we're going to get is what we saw this week. If you want more on that, you need to ask. That was outstanding. Set the tone.
You want to talk about their parents or girlfriends? We're not doing it.
We're not going to talk about the parents. We're talking about football. Let's run down my position.
And it was a great meeting, wasn't it? Each coach handled it so well for us. We were very appreciative.
Exactly. Jim Zorn as well. Final play of the game is an incompletion by Thompson, and that is the final. The East over the West, and Jim Zorn, 19-3. Mike Singletary brings his East team in here, worked them hard this week, and gets a win in the 90th edition of the East-West Shrine Game. Let's go down to the sideline on the field, and Alex Flanagan.
Yeah, Andrew, with the offensive MVP of this game, Marvin Kloss, I just asked him how he was feeling. He said tired. Yeah. You did an awful lot of kicking in this game.
Yeah, I did, but it's been a great opportunity. So it's an opportunity for me to get some exposure out here, and the more the better. But I am tired. The leg is tired. I've had enough for today. Yeah, because the offense that you're used to being in, you don't kick as much? Yeah, I've actually had more field goals and extra points, so that's usually a stat that's the other way around. But you know, they told me to stay ready, and they said they'd get me in field goal range, so I don't have a problem when I'm down there. Yeah, what do you think you proved to people today? I mean, in the NFL, they want to see consistency. So if you're going to be their guy, you know, every time they want 3 points when you're coming off the field. And I think I did a good job at that today. I could have done a little better on my kickoffs, but it's been a long week. You know, we started on Monday, and we had yesterday off, so that was the first day we've really gotten to relax. And it's been fun, though. You know, I've really been blessed. Well, you guys, Marvin Kloss, the most accurate kicker in South Florida history, and did a pretty darn good job here today. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. DJ, we're going to send it over to you now.
All right, here with Coach Zorn. Coach, you don't win a football game, but this is not about a win and loss week for you. How was the experience overall?
Well, the experience was great. It is when you lose, you do feel it. So it was a great week. Our kids were great. Our defense played well today. Our offense miscued often, but throughout the whole week, we never had anybody have a sour attitude, and you know, they fought hard. They tried to keep their composure here. And my hat goes off to the East. They beat us.
All right, now the real question everybody wants to know, did they hold to their word? Was there no blitzing out there today?
Yeah, there was no blitzing. We had we had to protect a little bit better with a four-man rush. We didn't even block anybody. We had no eyes on linebackers at all. So we just needed to block their front better.
Well, it was a good experience for everybody involved. Yeah. Thanks for being here, Coach. Let's send it back up to the booth.
All right, DJ, Jim Zorn, thank you back here with Mike Mayock and Charles Davis after a 19-3 final score. I'm Andrew Siciliano. Mayock, start with you. Your final thoughts after watching this one.
Well, Siciliano, what I thought was that the edge rush from Zadarius Smith from Kentucky and Chicolo from Miami were probably two of the more dominant efforts in the game. Chicolo, to me, was unblockable. Didn't matter if he was on the right or left side. We saw burst all week long. This time, gets past Blake Bell, the tight end, comes over the top. Again, he gets flushed that time by Zadarius Smith, and the hustle by Chicolo gets to him. So Zadarius Smith and Chicolo off the edge were the stars on defense. On offense, I kind of beg to differ. I wouldn't give it to a place kicker, but I mean, Santa did a good job, but Charles, you know, what about that tailback, Dominique Brown?
Yeah, that's where I was going to go with it, because McGee started off, you know, the first couple of series where he was terrific from LSU. And then Dominique Brown became a real workhorse. Yep. What did he end up, 17, 18 carries? You know, and ended up getting one into the end zone. Thank goodness we got to see a touchdown. But I thought they were great. And then don't forget the offensive line blocking for him.
And he got the only touchdown. That's what matters. 19-3 is the final score, guys. Be sure to join us. Reese's Senior Bowl coverage from Mobile, Alabama, starting Monday night at 10:30. The Reese's Senior Bowl preview show. Coming up next, though, NFL Total Access for Mike Mayock, for Charles Davis, for Alex Flanagan, and for Daniel Jeremiah. I'm Andrew Siciliano. Final score 19-3. So long from St. Petersburg.
Hey, I'm Brian Clark at Cinesport, checking in on practices for the East-West Shrine Game with Russ Landy. He's a former NFL scout and NFL draft expert. And Russ, looking at Monday's workouts, who really impressed you?
Fritz Etienne, a safety out of Memphis. This is a kid that, having played safety in college, got the chance today to line up out at cornerback in a lot of the one-on-one drills, and he showed that he's got the athleticism, really the innate instincts to be productive when he's asked to come down and cover receivers. So I think he helped himself with a good first day of practice. Keith Mumphrey, an unknown sort of receiver out of Michigan State, not a guy that got a lot of national attention, but he ran excellent routes today, caught the ball extremely well, and as one of the people I work closely with told me, he said he wouldn't be the guy you'd say made all the highlight reel catches. He was just the best receiver every single time he ran his routes. And the last guy, John Miller, a guard out of Louisville, may not be a guy that's a real sexy player, but he did a great job, showed strength at the point of attack, and showed the athleticism to move side to side to handle guys in pass protection. Definitely proved today that he probably has starting talent for an offensive lineman.
And looking at actual position groups that stood out, seemed like there were a couple of solid defensive linemen. Who were they?
You know, there was a handful of guys that did well today, but two in particular stood above the rest. B.J. Dubose, a defensive end out of Louisville, he showed rare change of direction ability, which helped him beat the offensive tackle both inside and around the corner. Not many guys can do what he can do physically, and that was what really impressed today. He's not a real big kid, so he's going to have to add some weight eventually, but his athleticism impressed. And David Parry, he showed the strength to anchor at the point of attack, but he also showed the hand use and quickness to defeat the block and get behind the line of scrimmage to disrupt plays and pressure the quarterback. I think both those guys really stood out amongst the defensive line today.
And then finally, who struggled?
You know, unfortunately, three guys to me really had tough days. First one is Brandon Vitabilly, a center out of Northwestern, really did not play well today. Athletically, he looked overmatched, and strength-wise, he really struggled at the point of attack. I would say that when you looked at just today, you would say, wow, he really was probably the worst offensive lineman here. Addison Richards, a real tall receiver out of Regina College up in Canada. Big kid, but he didn't run well, looked slow, didn't catch the ball well. He looked out of his element today. Hopefully, as the week goes on, he'll get better. But based on what I saw today, he didn't look like he's a professional football player. And the one big-name player that really struggled was Devin Gardner, the former quarterback at Michigan who's trying to make the switch to receiver. He looked the part on the hoof. I mean, he's a tall, good-looking kid. He can run, but his routes were raw. He looked uncomfortable when any defensive back got their hands on him, and he really didn't show the ability or the knowledge from experience to fight through contact when he had to go up and win contested battles for the ball. So he really had a struggle today. He needs to get much better if he's going to play in the NFL.
He'll try to keep building his case as the week in St. Petersburg continues. Russ Landy, NFL draft expert. Thanks, Russ.